Greetings, gamers, and welcome to the 219th live stream from the Misfit Gamer Studios. I am your host, Vortex, and this is D&D Discussions. On today's episode, we have something a little bit different. We have been hinting that we are going to try to do multiple reviews now that we have Kage being remote a lot more often. So today we are going to try that. We originally had planned the Suit of Spades, the Trickster from Soul, which is the first subclass of 3 for the Gambitier class that we did a couple weeks ago. But since they're relatively small, most of them are about a page-ish, we're actually going to try and do all 3 of them today, and we'll see how exactly that will work out for us and see if we can do that more in the future, since this will be our good test run. So join us as we look at the Suit of Spades, the Suit of Diamonds, and the Suit of Hearts for the subclasses of the Gambitier class, submitted by Soul. Let's go. I have to get Kage back here. Yo, there we go. We got you. And there we go. These things. All right, there we go. Now we're back to normal. What's up, everybody? Yeah, so today we are going to be taking a look at 3 subclasses. We want to see if we can actually get through it, because we have talked about trying to do more on Mondays with the reviews. So this is our test. And Soul did get back to us. They want individual scores. So each one will be treated differently. They will not be treated as a package. So I got you on that. All right. But otherwise, we don't have any updates yet. I will get details about the community stream, hopefully over the weekend. But until then, I think we just want to get into this because we do have 3. We don't want to waste too much time. And we want to be able to get everything done. So let's take a look at what Soul has in store for us today. We are going to start with the Suit of Spades. Here we are. All right, Suit of Spades, the Trickshot. This is the first of 3 subclasses for the Gambitier suit, or the Gambitier main class that we did a couple weeks ago from SoulCollectiveGuild. Now, starting as always with the description. Excuse me. The Suit of Spades represents precision, discipline, and lethality. Gambitiers who follow this path see every battle as a duel, every strike as a gamble of skill. With a steady hand and unerring eye, the Trickshot Gambitier bends fate itself towards the perfect shot. Interesting. This is giving me Wanted vibes. Okay. Remember that movie Wanted?
Wanted. Oh, curving bullets.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta fix you right.
Why do I also feel what's that dude? The dude, I feel like he was a Daredevil villain. What's his name? Bullseye? Or Deadshot? Something like that.
Something like that, I think. Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. No, I'm kind of here for that. Lightweight, like Wild Wild West, like Saloon. Why am I thinking of what's that one freaking movie? Wyatt Earp.
Right.
I can't remember the name. Whatever, it's fine.
Right. Trying to frame it a little bit better.
But no, I'm excited to see what we got going on here. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun. What did I do there? We're gonna have to take a look. See.
I gotta get you sized up my camera ish. Oh wow, yeah, my camera's hella small compared to yours. I think that's why it's been always off. There we go. That's a little bit better. I think I had your camera just a little bit.
Got you. Okay, I see that.
A little bit too enlarged.
Oh, it's cool.
So now we have you framed so much better now. Before it was just like your head right in the middle, but there we go. There we go. Now we can continue. Sorry about that. All right, so let's take a look at this. Suit of Spades features. Now we have a Gambitier level feature at 3rd, 7th, 13th, and 17th. We have Deadeye, Precision, Ricochet, Perfect Shot, and Blackjack. Now, These sound very familiar, and I can't remember if these are supplemental things that I remember from the past, or are these current features for 5th edition, because I want to say Perfect Shot and Ricochet sound extremely familiar, and Blackjack used to be something from, I think, OD&D, where it was a way that you could like you basically could like instantly knock out somebody with your weapon. It was like a feature where you could roll and like knock them out. Just like how like the blackjack, the old thing that they used to carry around, like the little thing that you see in old movies. They hit you upside the head, knock you out, and take you away.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out, are these homebrew or are these specific to 5th edition, because they have very specific names.
I am unfamiliar with those names specifically related to 5th edition. I'm gonna see if I can look some of them up real quick.
Okay, just making sure if this was something that I haven't seen before.
Okay, the only thing I found for Ricochet is a spell, a 2nd level spell called Ricochet, but there's no class feature it's just a spell.
Cool. Okay, that's probably what I'm thinking of. So we'll see what these are, because it looks like these are everything that the class is going to get. So this is it. Once you choose a subclass, you're only going to get these 4 things. Okay, Soul says they are specific to the homebrew, and if they're 5e, it's completely accidental. Cool. So at 3rd level, we get Deadeye Precision. Your accuracy is 2nd to none. You gain a +2 bonus to ranged weapon attack rolls. Additionally, once per turn, when you miss a ranged weapon attack, you may reroll the attack with disadvantage. That's super unique. Most times, everything is catering to you, but the idea that you get a second chance but at disadvantage, I like that. That's really clever. Speaking of which, I actually did review our previous submission, our previous review of the Gambitier. Previously, it did get a 4 out of 10. It did get the inspiration point, but a couple of the notes that we made where mainly just didn't feel fully complete. It did feel a little bit too powerful in terms of the cards that were drawn and how many you get and the buffs and debuffs. We both felt like there wasn't enough balance between the debuffs it gave you and the buffs that you get, and how easy it is to get rid of debuffs that you may not want. And some of the debuffs seemed a little bit extreme. But we both wanted to really see these. And this right here is amazing. I really like this concept of giving people, because we see it in like tieflings, where what is it, like tieflings you can't roll like a 1 or halflings,
yes.
but they're and it's like so it's kind of like on the range of that, but it doesn't feel as gimme. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel as pandering, like, here, don't worry, you can't fail. This is more of you have a sliver of a chance to retry, and I like that so much more. That's so much more tangible for a potential comeback than it does just a, hey, we don't want you to feel like you lost. So I like that. That's really
Okay.
Once per turn, when you miss, you get basically like that's interesting. Now, it's funny that it's called Deadeye Precision too, because when I think of like when you miss, I would almost want to rename this like quick reload or or like double tap, right? Because the whole idea is that when you miss, because I'm thinking like, imagine like you have like the old fashioned pump rifle. It's like, you pop up, you miss, and then it's an instant, it's an instant try again.
Here's how I view this. Because theoretically what's happening is you're getting another chance to roll the same attack. So if you end up hitting on the reroll, then basically what you're saying is, I would have missed, but I didn't, which is why they call it precision. So
yeah,
I get it there, but I totally think that
it's almost, because it feels more reactionary, because like Deadeye Precision, I would almost because this one, it requires you to have missed. Well, I guess because this isn't something that you activate. No, I'm sorry. So it's not something that you activate. So you always get a +2 to your ranged attack, but once per turn, you also have a feature that you can activate whenever you miss. Once per turn when you miss. Okay. Yeah. I think I misinterpreted that for a second there. So Yeah, interesting. Like Deadeye Precision makes sense for the +2 bonus, but while I love it, it just doesn't. It seems interesting that this is more of like a reactionary thing that you can do. But I like it. I either way, I do like it. The +2 is totally fine. I think that that's a very valid feature, especially for any kind of a ranged character. But I really just like the feature of this. If you're on a missed attack, you can try again.
That's legit. I like this a lot. Absolutely.
At 7th level, you get Ricochet. You've mastered the art of bouncing a shot to hit multiple targets. Not what I expected, but okay. Once per short or long rest. Okay, I would just say like once per short rest, because I think that's obvious, right? That it's gonna be a long rest, a short rest.
Yeah. When you finish a long rest, most of your features reset, but yeah.
When you hit a creature with a ranged attack, you may ricochet the projectile towards a second target within 15 feet of the first. Make a separate attack roll against it. Okay. I'm going to say that these should be swapped. And here's why. Deadly Precision should be a +2 to ranged attacks. And once per long rest, when you hit a creature, you can make a separate attack roll for a creature behind it. Kind of like you precision your shot so well it goes through one creature and hits another. Then Ricochet should read once per turn when you miss a ranged attack, you can attack another enemy within 15 feet. Make another ranged attack.
When you miss, it'll ricochet off of something and actually hit them.
That's what I'm thinking, is just switch these, because precision would be so cool. If you're telling me that once per combat, once per long rest, when I attack an enemy and if there's an enemy behind them, I can willingly hit both enemies. That sounds like a precision shot. And I get a +2 to both of those attacks. But the ricochet makes me think I'm bouncing it off something, but bouncing something off of a person doesn't sound right, especially when most people will be archers and not really gun wielders. But the idea that if I miss once per turn, remember, and this is where ricochet would be even better, because at 7th level, once per turn, not once per long rest, if I miss, I get to automatically hit a different target. That's fucking crazy good at 7th level. That if any time once per turn, if I miss, I get a second chance at a different target. That would be wildly awesome.
Interesting. Oh, so you're talking about not only mixing the names, but mixing the mechanics.
That's what I'm saying. I love the +2 bonus with hitting 2 targets, but Ricochet, I like using that verbiage once per turn. When you miss, you get a chance to have it bounce and hit another target. That mechanic sounds like it would be absolutely perfect for what this is trying to encapsulate.
Interesting. I definitely like the alternate mechanic. Again, I don't mind what Ricochet does.
I don't mind it. I just think I'm only going off of the naming convention. It's not that any of these are written bad. My brain just says these are named wrong.
Sure.
But it's cool.
Yeah. I don't know what I would do with the other one, because I feel like just having it to be somebody that's directly behind them, like, granted, I think that if that's the type of gameplay that you're looking for, like, I think it's cool to like have to like line up your shots or like move so that you have somebody in like the right distance. But I do also like the idea of kind of like a chain lightning type deal. I know that this is not chain lightning, and like doing this with like a projectile feels weird, and I agree.
I get your idea though. It does feel great to do this. That's what I said. I don't mind how they're written, but when I read them, they just sound like they're not written for the title they have.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? It's just like the idea of having your projectile hit someone, do damage, and then go to another target without it being magical or something else. That's a stretch for me, but I don't dislike the mechanic. Like you said, just being able to have that is great. So either one, I'm down for it. I don't dislike either of them, but I would personally remix it a little bit because I love the naming construct. I love the naming structure. I just think that we should lean into that a little bit more because I think that is a cool concept.
Fair enough. Quite valid. Quite valid.
All right, perfect shot, level 13. You can land a flawless strike when fate is in your favor. Once per long rest, before making an attack roll, you may declare it a perfect shot. That attack automatically hits it. Okay, so basically it's a crit. I would honestly just change this to the attack automatically hits and deals max damage. I would think it would be easier to just say that before making an attack roll, you may declare a perfect shot. That attack is automatically a crit. Like, it just sounds like it would be easier language. That attack is automatically
Sure.
a crit.
Less
and it would open it up for anybody who has alternative crit rules. Maybe it would make them feel better because they could apply their crit mechanics instead of just throwing that out there as an alternative. But it doesn't diminish from this.
I will say I do like that idea. I see why they probably went this way, because they didn't want to necessarily diminish from when somebody does get a crit.
Right, that's fair.
But this will feel like it's a regular shot, like a potential of like what a normal shot could do. Because if I'm rolling a d10 for my damage, like I could still possibly roll a 10 on the dice. This is just guaranteeing I'm going to roll that 10. Whereas with crit rules, some people will double the damage. Right?
That's fair. So dealing maximum damage does make a lot of sense. I would say though, I would make this personally, especially because I imagine, like you had mentioned before, like with the precision shot, trying to like imagine what they're doing with it. I'd almost want to make this require, like, with your attack action, with like use a bonus action and an attack action. Like with your attack action, you have to use a bonus action to declare the perfect shot, because that's kind of like you, like, especially if you imagine like with the arrow, that's you pulling it back, sizing it up, taking a deep breath, holding it, letting it out. Like I feel like if you're going to be able to do this, should it actually cost something, or do you just get to do it for free?
I agree. I think one of two things: it should take action and bonus action, or it should take action and at least half your movement.
Okay, that's fair. Half your movement, because you have to slow down for the moment. I'm okay with that. Because yeah, so far these are just cool abilities, but they don't take anything to use. They're very passive. I'd like, at least at this stage, at 13th level, it's got to cost me something to do something this good. Like a guaranteed hit.
Now, I'm kind of leaning back and forth between, because there could be an archer that just doesn't move a lot, and so like if all I have to do is give up some movement, like sure, I'll do that. So making it cost a bonus action could be more versatilely costly.
I feel it makes it more intentful than just, oh, he's almost dead. Okay, I'm just going to guarantee this hit. A tank.
But
you know what I mean?
At the same time, I'm trying to recall. If in the main class was there something that like used bonus actions a lot, like, because if we're gonna basically tie up one of your bonus actions, and that's a part of your like standard economy and what you do, like for a monk using like flurry of blows and like your bonus action to do, like you use that a lot. So
but that would make this even that much better to guarantee that hit, right? That would make it a lot more balanced to have to trade up a guaranteed maximum damage hit.
If it cost a bonus action too, I'd be way more happy making it a crit. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and I'd be happy if it cost the bonus action. I'm way better. I would even be okay with short rests and not long rests.
How many per short rest?
It just says once per short rest, or long rest right now. It's once per long rest. I wouldn't mind making it a short rest if it costs the bonus action. Because again, with that kind of action economy, I don't mind having them have it more often, as long as they have the opportunity for a short rest.
Yeah, I agree, because I think right now, as is, like, and here's the reality: I probably missed that portion of it where it says once per short rest, because as is when if I can only use this once per long rest, that's once per day. I have to be selective about when I use that.
Right.
And that means I'm going to use it way less often. That means I'm going to like wait till like the very perfect moment to use it, which means I'm probably never going to use it.
Which is why I'm okay with once per short rest if it costs a bonus
Absolutely.
action, because it's more intentful, it's more tactical, but it still packs that punch that you want.
Sure.
So I'm good with it. I still like the concept of being able to do that.
Just as an alternative, I might be more cozy with proficiency modifier for long rest. I
Ooh.
feel like you'll get more out of it that way. So like right now it'd be a 4 at level 13. You'd be able to use
And
this
that would make the bonus action a lot more impactful too, because you'd be using a lot more of your bonus actions,
Yeah.
which would mean you have to trade that up with the main class. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
but I'm here for that. I'm super here for that. I like this one a lot. I love what it does.
I will say this did give me a bit of an inspiration for something completely different. So this has nothing to do with the current review. But this makes me want to, like we were talking about Ricochet, and then we're talking about this. I now want a feature that takes these, but takes also an inspiration from Hunter's Mark. So imagine you have something like this where you can mark a target similar to Hunter's Mark, right? So boom, I mark target A. And I have a special feature that when I mark a creature, right? Maybe it takes an action, maybe it takes a bonus action, or maybe whenever I deal damage to a creature, I can mark them, right? And this is for a ranged attack. Whenever I attack another creature that isn't marked and I miss, I have a chance to hit the creature that I marked. So like I hit and mark creature A. I go and attack creature B and I hit him, no big deal. Next round, I go and attack creature C, I miss, I roll again and I hit, it goes to creature A.
I like this. Question is this a homing missile, or are they just happening to be behind them?
And that's the thing. It's more like it would have to be magical in base, because it's like if you miss the creature you're targeting, it will still default to, like, it'll veer off to the creature that it would that you marked.
Sure.
So it's kind of like a backup option. I'm just curious, like that has nothing to do with this class, but it would be kind of curious to have something that it's like be able to mark a creature, and then if you miss the creature you're looking at, it'll still go to that guy and have a chance to hit him.
I played this game called Hades, and there's this one like
I know the game.
you have where you shoot them with the bow, and then there's like a special move that you can do that like fires like a spread of arrows, and the person you just shot, all those arrows will like home in on them.
That'd be cool.
It's wild. Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's some room for inspiration there.
Absolutely.
All right, so our last ability at level 17 is Blackjack. At the height of your skill, every battle feels like one decisive hand. When you roll a nat 20 on a ranged weapon attack. Okay, so when you crit on a ranged weapon attack, you may immediately make one additional ranged attack as a free action. This extra attack can only trigger once per turn. If both the original and the bonus attack hit, you deal an extra 2d6 damage of the same damage type as fate doubles down on your gamble. Okay, so if I understand this correctly, whenever I crit, once per turn, if I crit, I can make another attack roll. If that hits, I add 2d6 damage to whatever my crit already does.
The question is, you add the 2d6 damage, yes. You add your crit damage, yes. Do I add damage for the second arrow?
I was thinking the same thing. Do I also get a second actual arrow damage on top
or
of that?
Or is this 2d6 representing that second arrow?
Exactly. And I would like to know that as well. It also reads as if I have to attack the same target. Like I make a second attack on the same target.
Oh,
it doesn't specify, but it does imply that because I'm doing extra damage, not a separate stack of damage. Right? Because you wouldn't say extra damage if it's to a different target.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does very much feel like that's the case. Um, because when I was reading it, it almost sounded like the 2d6 was on in addition to the first attack's damage, not the second attack's damage. Which
Right.
is why I was asking, does the second attack get its own damage?
So we'll need some clarification from Soul on how this exactly
Okay.
works. Although this is giving me some, again, more ideas, not for this class, but more ideas. Now I want a feature for archers, because I don't know if this is actually available, but I want a feature for archers that allows them to attack without disadvantage at within like 5 feet if you're using a ranged attack within melee. I don't know if that's actually a standard feat that you can get.
It is. It's crossbow expert, I think.
Okay.
I think it's either that or spell sniper. Let me check.
I also want a different one where it would be really great to give a archer like kind of a disengage ability, but lets them move like 10 feet without opportunity attack, and they have to immediately attack it. Like it's something that they do right before they attack, so they can move 10 feet before an attack, basically, but without opportunity attack. So essentially it lets them like roll backwards and get some distance to fire their arrow without disadvantage.
Well, that's kind of classy.
That would be a dope because if rogues get disengaged, why couldn't archers get a very smaller one, right? Where it's basically like you only can use the disengage action and move a maximum of 10 feet, but you must attack the target you disengaged at the end of it, right? So it's intentionally like a move out of attack range to back off the enemy, but then fire at them.
Interesting. Okay.
Because then it would, that 10 feet would negate your disadvantage on the attack, but you'd also be able to make distance without providing the opportunity attack. So, I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool. I think it would be, because then it would be a very unique version of disengage, right? It would only be for the fact of moving that 10 feet and immediately attacking, not just
I would call it like a special attack. It's like this attack you can spend a use of this attack and you can disengage from the target.
Right. Or it would be a bonus action. As a bonus action, you can disengage up to 10 feet, but you then must immediately attack that target. So if you don't have a ranged weapon, then you probably couldn't. But that would also be available for pole masters. So anybody with a ranged weapon even doesn't have to be it could be a weapon with range, not necessarily a ranged weapon.
That's
or a weapon with reach.
Weapon with range. Yeah.
Yeah, so it could also be a pole master could dodge 10 feet and then slap some. There's some utility in this feature. We got to talk about that. All right, so how does this work? Are we talking about just you roll a second time and you're only adding 2d6, or are you actually firing a second time, doing a second arrow's worth of damage, and doing a 2d6? Let us know. That's what we're waiting on. But otherwise, I will say this. Having listened to our previous review of the Gambitier, understanding what we didn't really like, and a lot of it was with the cards and the system and all of that. One thing I will say is this does not feel as chaotic. It does feel simplified, but this also, to me, this feels a little bit nicer than some subclasses because I like how it just gets to the point, just kind of gives you what you can do, and it's up to you on how to use it. Sometimes the subclasses seem to try and fill too many gaps and try to give you too much. This just feels nice and solid, right? I kind of like the simplicity of it, though I will say that in that simplicity, it doesn't feel as robust as other subclasses. So it's little column A, little column B. That was a lot of words all at once, but both of them are coming together. It's the second thing. Well, basically what we were trying to understand is with your blackjack, it says that when you crit, you immediately roll an additional ranged attack as a free action. If both original and bonus attack hit, deal an extra 2d6. So what we're saying is I attack with an arrow, I do arrow damage, and I do arrow crit, and I crit with that arrow damage, right? So that's what's happening. I crit with that arrow. When I roll this second attack, does this second attack include a new arrow's worth of damage and 2d6? Or am I only rolling the second attack to add 2d6 to the first amount of damage?
Great way to put it.
Okay, that's wanted to make sure I explained it correctly and properly, because I know that we had a bunch said in between. So that's the idea: is am I rolling the second attack purely for 2d6, or is it a full second attack that also gets a 2d6, right? Like, that's what we're not really understanding is whether or not it's a full second attack, or if it's just for 2d6. But overall, I like it. I think it's a lot clearer. I do think it will struggle with 5th edition, but otherwise, it's a really cool subclass. It's a great starter. You roll for the free attack. If it hits, it does arrow damage and deals 2d6. Okay, so it is a full second attack, but that second attack will get a 2d6 by itself.
So second question that Vortex actually had, can that second attack be on a different target?
Ah, yes. Perfect. Thank you. If it's a second attack, I'm assuming it does not have to be on the same target.
Exactly how I feel. Yeah.
It was my understanding. It was just because it said additional damage, I was confused.
Can be on a different target.
Okay, so once per turn, whenever you crit, you basically get another free attack.
Gotcha.
That will carry 2d6 damage. Okay. I don't mind it.
So I'm not gonna lie, you were talking about naming structure earlier, and the only thing that I'm thinking of is that I would call this something like locked in.
Right.
Like, I know that's a little new agey, whatever, but like that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like I've zeroed in, I've honed in, I'm like, it blocked out all external distractions, and I can just do more than I could do before. Like, I'm just like, I know exactly where my quiver is. I didn't have to fumble for nothing. I'm perfect on my stringing, like all of this stuff, you know.
So I have
reload an actual 6-shooter, whatever the case may be.
I have two ideas. I think I would take this two different ways. One direction, I think I would remove the once per turn and just say whenever you crit, you get an extra attack. I think that would be one way you could go. Without the extra damage, just whenever you crit, you get to follow up with an extra attack. And that can stack. Because if you just crit twice in a row, you just keep fucking going, my dude. There's kind of a vibe with that. Now, when it comes to the 2d6 extra damage, there's another part of me that says that, like, I don't mind this, but as a capstone, especially for a subclass, to have a capstone locked behind a crit is rough, to say the least. You know, I've gotten this far, and now I have to rely on a 10% chance to ever use this every time I attack. Or, yeah, 10% chance. Or, no, 20% chance. Five. There we go. 5% chance. I don't know. Brain can do math some days. But yeah, so it feels a little bad. But what I wouldn't mind, and this would probably be a little bit, this I think would be a little bit crazy, but part of me kind of is okay with it, is change it from whenever you crit to whenever you down an enemy. And you can even put in whenever you down an enemy of a certain HP or a certain hit die. So it doesn't apply to minions because you don't want to abuse too quick, right? But you could say whenever you down an enemy of 2 hit die or more, you get a free attack. For every, and then you could say it stacks, and then for every stack, you do an extra d6 of damage. So enemy A, I range attack, I take him down. I immediately get a free attack. Enemy B, I get a 1d6 added onto my damage. I take him down. Enemy C, I get a 2d6 added to my damage.
Sure.
But again, if you capped it at a certain hit die, you wouldn't allow it to be like an infinite, like, I'm just going to kill minions at 1 HP and flood this.
I'll say this. 2 things tied to it. Number one, I feel like it might be easy enough to just give the definition of a minion to the DM and just say, you know, basically, yes, this doesn't work on minions, but just use the terminology minions, and then you can even put in parentheses as defined by your DM or something like
Fair.
that. You
That's
know?
fair.
So like if they're thinking, no, this is too spammable, I don't want you to do this here, you can't do this here. But if they're like,
That's what I
yeah,
was
sure,
thinking, hit die, because by this level, there's a certain number of hit die that you should be expecting. So anything too easy, you could say it doesn't work.
yeah. But also my second point is I'm kind of okay, like depending on what it is, like so the way I would run minion type stuff is basically if it's really a minion, it doesn't need hit points. It's more like a number of swings, right? So
Mm.
if like I'm gonna say this is gonna take you 2 swings to take down, right? Or if you roll high enough on your damage, if you roll like max damage or something like that, yeah, absolutely you can take it out in 1 hit for sure. Or if you crit, easily you're gonna take it out in 1 hit. But like that would be like kind of my mentality. It's like 1 swing, you're gonna damage this thing desperately, and then another swing, it's gonna disappear, right? And so like just imagine like somebody, oh my gosh, imagine like the monk running through just doing the first hit on all these things, and then it's your turn next, and you just finish them all off. You just take down like a line of like 40 of these things. Like
Yeah.
that would be like the sickest piece of teamwork I've ever seen. And I would love to see that out on the battlefield.
And so yeah, so even if you didn't do the extra damage, and you just said whenever you take an enemy down to 0 hit points, you get a free attack, like, or you get a free shot. So it's just kind of like that ting ting. You're just in that flow of you just keep letting arrows go. Like
Yes,
that would be kind of cool.
I got it.
So yeah, so those would be like some directions that I might take something like this, because this is cool. I don't know. I'm a little bit hesitant with forcing it behind a crit.
Yeah. No, I feel that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I've likely brought that up in past things before. I didn't see that here just now, but that's exactly. I very much feel the same way. Like most things, it's like you got to ask yourself, how useful do I feel like this is gonna be? You know, when I'm out in the field using it. So
Yeah.
yeah. No.
So I really like this one. I think this one's great. It's definitely makes the main class more approachable. It doesn't change my mind on the main class. I still think the main class needs a lot of reworking. I would like, okay, so my one critique though is that I will say that knowing what the main class is, as cool as these features are, I do not feel a connection between the main class and this, in terms of I don't feel any connection to Spades, to the cards. Like, I know that the cards weren't necessarily specific to like a deck of cards because they had like different names and they had buffs and debuffs, but this doesn't mention the cards once. It doesn't suggest that I could use cards in a certain way. Like even if you like thought about like the idea that one of these could, you know, like you would think that one of the subclasses, at least one of the features, would like help a buff or make a debuff go away. You know what I mean? Like there would be a call to the fact that the main class has all this stuff happening. But
a great example of this is the monk. So many of the subclasses say when you do X, Y, and Z with your flurry of blows. But
yeah,
the flurry of blows is something you get with the main class. So a lot of these things are building on top of what the main class gives you, because that's
none of these trigger on when a card triggers. None of the so I would just say like I would want to give it a higher score, but I do kind of have to make that point that that's not there enough for me to be like, hey, there's like a really good connection with the main class. So that will kind of hold it back. It does get a good inspiration point though, so it feels a lot better. It feels a lot more succinct. It's going to be a struggle with 5th edition, but I personally like it. And again, it's compatibility, so it's not about 5th edition. Yeah. So with the inspiration point, I will give it a 7. It still needs a lot of work. I could have given it more. Just in general, these features I really like, but I really have to also understand that this is tied to a main class that this just doesn't synergize with. So it would need a little bit of work, but I am really curious about it. I think some of these features are on point and could also just be standalone features regardless of a subclass. Like a lot of these would be great for archers out there. You know what I mean? Just these would just be some dope things to give to almost any archer. So yeah, solid 7.
Love it.
All right. Moving right along, now we have the Suit of Diamonds. This is the Sorcerous deck. Okay, so now we got a Magic User deck. Definitely, we had a ranged attack. Now we have a Sorcerer, so I'm assuming that the Suit of Hearts will be more of like a melee? Maybe?
That's fair. That's fair assessment. Okay.
All right, Suit of Diamonds, the Sorceress deck. Let's see, starting with the description. The Suit of Diamonds glitters with arcane power. Gambitiers who walk this path learn to weave magic into their cards. Each draw shimmers with the promise of brilliance or the threat of destruction. Are we Gambit now? Is that what's going on? They are part duelist, part mage, twisting fate through sheer magical will. And we also have 4 at 3rd, 7th, 13th, and 17th. We have Arcane Gambit, Enchanted Draw, Diamond Dust, and High Stakes. So I like that this one does feel a little bit more close to the card motif.
Absolutely. I was just about to say, like, in the description, we've already heard more connection to the main class than the last Empire subclass. And so...
this one was much more about duels, so...
Right. And which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with what it was about. But, like, this is like, hey, you're still a Gambitier, but you're also a Sorceress deck, right? Like, your decks of your Gambitierness is specifically a Sorceress deck, right? Like, it would be so interesting if, like, each of these were just a different type of deck that you got, or whatever the case may be. Like,
I just thought of a cool ass idea for a meta subclass. A meta subclass. So imagine you had a class similar to this, or a subclass similar to the Suit of Spades, right? Because the Suit of Spades was that every battle is a duel.
True.
What if once per turn, I can engage in a whatever you want to call it, a duel, a conflict, a whatever you want to name it, right? A duel.
Sure.
So this could be when you're attacking or when you're getting attacked. And literally, your character, your player in real life has a deck of cards of 52 cards. So once per turn, you can like interject a duel. So like, let's say you're gonna attack an enemy. You're like, hey, I want to attack this enemy. And right as you go to attack, you're like, oh, actually, wait a second, interject duel. And then you play high card real quick, like with the DM in this case. You both pull a card. If you have high card, you get advantage on the attack. So like a meta Gambitier duelist where like once per turn, you can inflict advantage or disadvantage as long as you play high card in real life. So like if a player is about to do something, you can be like, oh, I want to give you advantage. Let's play high card real quick. And whoever wins gets the, like, there could be some fun with like a meta subclass like that.
Why does that flash an image of, like, imagine if somebody cast the spell Compelled Duel, and instead of like they're forced to fight you, they all of a sudden get one of those like Yu-Gi-Oh duel discs that, like, and then they're just forced into a freaking Yu-Gi-Oh battle. I'm like, get out of here, bro. That would be crazy.
That would be really interesting. Or like, or again, with the whole subclass, imagine you can give your party buffs, but they can only get it if they pull the right card. So you know how, like, clerics can give guidance, bards can give inspiration. What if you could give advantage, but only like you could assign a card. So like you shuffle your deck and like you're about to do something, right? So let's say you're about to do something, and instead of giving inspiration or guidance, I go, wait a second, shuffle my deck. Queens will give you advantage. You have to cut the deck, but if you cut to a queen, I give you advantage.
Interesting. See, I like the idea, and this is just so it's like you don't necessarily waste it. It's like, hey, I want to give you something specific, but it's going to be one of 4 things. You have the different shapes.
Right. Or it could be something like, hey, you have to go like over a certain number. Oh, how about this? So the cards are basically like, what is it? 1 through 16, basically, or 2 through 16 ish.
13, 14, but yeah.
Yeah. So what if you could give anyone advantage or disadvantage whenever you wanted, but here's the caveat, right? You have to present the deck and they have to cut it. But just like setting a DC, you set a number up to 50% through the deck, right? So meaning if I say, hey, cut the deck with a +3, meaning the top 3 cards will give you advantage, but the bottom 3 cards will give you disadvantage. Everything else doesn't matter. So I can give you a +8. So I could give you, cards 7 through ace will give you advantage, but that also means cards 6 through 2 will give you so you know what I mean? Like you set the variable. But that would be, I'm just saying that there's an interesting concept here for like a meta subclass where you have to do something out of game to affect the ability in game, but you add, instead of just a dice roll, right? It's not just a dice roll, it's more tactile.
Interesting. Okay, I'm here for it.
I don't know how to implement it, but it sounds like it would be kind of fun.
Yeah. I like the idea with cards because there's so much you can do with cards. But there's gotta be a couple of different ways you can mess with that.
Well, I mean, you could do like high-low, you could do odds evens. If you wanted to do 25%, that's one of the suits. So you could really stack it like 50% is anything over 7s, right? If you wanted to do a quarter, 25%, it's any heart. If you wanted to do 50%, you could also do odds even. Like there's so many ways that, yeah, you could divide. It's basically just another way of rolling dice, but more tactical to the character itself.
Sure.
Because I think the idea of having a deck in real life and like letting someone pull a card, and I don't want this to be like a deck of many things where you have to look up on a chart what you pull, but just a quick and simple, hey, I want to help this guy out. I want to give him a chance to, so imagine if it was just, hey, shuffle your deck and any face card, you can give advantage. But if they pull a 2, 3, or 4, they have disadvantage. So that's it. So jacks, queens, kings, and aces, those 4 types of cards will give you advantage, but 2s, 3s, and 4s will give you disadvantage. So something that
would be cool if you had a card in your deck that always did something.
Like a Joker. That's the Joker. The Joker card would always have a guaranteed effect.
Right.
We'll have to workshop this. We should workshop this on a stream sometime.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we could fit, well, you got some other plans for a community stream. I was like, we could do that on our community stream.
Hey, we could do everything on the community stream.
That's true.
All right. So let's see what Diamond has in store for us. First one at 3rd level is Arcane Gambit. You learn to channel raw magic through your deck. You gain limited spellcasting using Charisma as your spellcasting ability. Spellcasting progression, you gain spells as shown in the Gambitier spellcasting table, which is at the end of this. You can prepare a number of Gambitier spells equal to your Charisma modifier plus half your Gambitier level rounded down. Your spell list is limited to cantrips and spells that reflect manipulation, change, or burst of arcane power. Think Mage Hand, Shield, Scorching Ray, Mirror Image, Counterspell. If we're going to be that specific, I think having a known list is better than a supposed list, because there's a lot of, well, what does that mean? I would say just make it a better set list instead, or add, like either make it a concrete list or just add certain special spells. But this, it's a little difficult to follow. You also gain 2 cantrips from the Sorcerous spell list. At higher levels, you learn additional cantrips as shown in the Gambitier spellcasting table. Spell save DC is an 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier, and your spell attack modifier is your proficiency bonus plus your charisma modifier. So it gives you spellcasting. That's the main thing that we know here, is it gives you spellcasting. It's a charisma spellcaster. And you get a limited amount of spells. Other than the extra 2 cantrips, is there really anything that this thing is giving you that stands out to you for a spellcaster?
I mean, so the question for me starts off of, okay, you're not a full caster, so what kind of caster are you? Are you a half caster, or closer to a quarter caster, or are you something weird like warlocks, right? And
well, it says you can prepare a number of Gambitier spells equal to your charisma modifier plus half your Gambitier level. So right. I think that would make you more than a half caster, right?
what is the maximum level of spells you'll have access to, and what's the maximum spell slots you'll end up having?
Max
Okay.
4th and 4 first level.
Okay. Okay, so let me look at this real quick.
So that sounds more like a quartercaster. Because at 20th level, you get 3 cantrips, 9 spells, 4 first level, 3 second, 3 third, 1 fourth. So yeah, that's a quartercaster because you don't even get 5th or 6th level spells.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I think quartercaster. This feels again very in line with an arcane trickster rogue. Basically, you know, it's you get some cantrips, you get some spell slots. I don't know if they get much else than that. Like that's at 3rd level.
Yeah. One thing, so here's an example. I don't mind it because it's just a quartercaster at 3rd level. This is kind of in line with other quartercasters, like you said with the Arcane Trickster. One thing I would like this to say, just to stand out, just to make it feel more in line with the Gambitier and to stand out from like the Arcane Trickster, the verbiage could very easily be added. One of these bullet points under spell progression is whenever you choose or whenever you gain a new card, you may swap out one of your cantrips. Or something along those lines. Like whenever, because the whole thing, the main class is all about getting and swapping out cards. So in the Sorcerer subclass, I would love to see that whenever I change a card, I can also change a known spell. Or something, right? Like, again, tie it into the cards.
Absolutely. No, I like that vibe. You know, if for no other reason than to give a reason to again connect yourself to your original class and what you are and what you do. Yes, you have spells, but like, do I cast spells when I throw these cards, or like, you know, there's all different types of ways you can go about it. But okay.
I also feel like at this point, being a quartercaster, I want something that makes me stand out from other quartercasters. So being able to change out my spells more often, like being able to select different ones and be more agile every single time, I think would be kind of cool.
And I feel that falls in line with what you are. You know, like you have like a certain flexibility, you have a certain like versatility, you have a certain way of like, hey, it could be this card, or it could be this card, it could be this cantrip, or it could be this cantrip, it could be this one, or it could be that one. You know, so like, I feel like it works well.
But otherwise, yeah. Okay, so quartercaster, I think that's a great subclass to start with, or like to continue with. All right, so next ability at 7th level, Enchanted Draw. Whenever you gain a new card from your Chaos deck, hey, what we were just saying. You may choose to infuse it with Arcane Energy. The card gains a minor magical effect in addition to its normal ability determined by the DM. For example, the card might allow you to cast a cantrip like Mage Hand or a 1st level spell like Shield once per short rest. You have a maximum of 2 cards infused in this way at one time. Okay. That's what I want to see. That's 100% what I want to see in these subclasses. The ability that whenever you gain a new card, you can infuse it, and the card, now it says it might allow you, but I love the idea that as you level up, being able to infuse these cards, I wouldn't even mind infusing them with like a spell, like any spell that you know, and it could only do it once, right? So basically imagine like on your turn, you can have 3 cards with these spells, but on your turn, you can cast a spell and like a bonus action, activate one of those. So essentially get 2 spells in a round, but you only get so many, but you're infusing your spells with a one-time preloaded spell, right? Like making your own wands, but one-time use.
Yeah.
And every time you swap out a card, every level when you swap out a card, you can reinfuse it. This is onto something right here. That we're getting somewhere.
See, I very much like again the use and the interaction with the cards on this one. I am kind of torn because I really love what warlocks do with their invocations. I think they do a really good job of bringing a certain element of utility with also having like the limited nature of what warlocks are.
Yeah.
So being able to do something like give you um, mage armor, give you disguise self, give you speak with animals, a first level spell as a cantrip, meaning I can cast it an infinite number of times as much as I want. Like, I think that is phenomenal. Now, I know it'd be hard to do with stuff like this, stuff like shield. Mage hand is a cantrip. Yeah, you can do that easy. But like, imagine if it was shield, definitely not counter spell. But like magic missile. Imagine if you could cast magic missile as a cantrip without expending a spell slot.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the end of the world. Like, I don't think that's the most terrible thing.
Especially if it was limited, especially if you had to recycle it with your card usage. Because again, I love the idea of if every card that is infused only has a one-time use, it also encourages you to swap out cards because you only get to infuse it when you swap them out. So like I kind of feel, and you like in this terms, like every time you we know because in the main class, like every time you level up, you can swap cards.
Sure.
And in that particular case, when you swap cards, if whenever you get a new card in your hand, you infuse it with a spell. That's a one-time use, meaning once you've used that spell, it's gone. But once you swap out a new card, you infuse it. And if that ability was like a bonus action, imagine being able to, as an action, cast a full leveled spell, then as a bonus action, burn a card like Gambit for a full leveled spell. And then when you level up,
I get that, but what I was referring to giving them the ability to cast it as long as that card is infused and in your deck, you can now cast that first level spell as a cantrip.
No, I get that too. Yeah, I like both ideas. I think both ideas are pretty solid. I just,
okay,
yeah, it just
comparing. Okay.
Yeah, it just really depends on like, yeah, how would you like to go about it? Because my idea encourages the constant swap out, but your idea I think is just the idea that once you have it infused, you just have this heightened ability with magic, which is cool.
If it could be, like you said a second ago, a spell of my choosing, and if it was a spell of my choosing, if it was something I could activate as a bonus action, I could activate it even if I'd already cast a leveled spell on my turn, and it could be a spell of, I would. Okay, what level is this that we get this? Seventh level. If it was, do we have third level spells yet? Let me check.
At 7th level, we would have 2nd level spells. So again, I don't care if it says any leveled spell can be infused, right? Like at that point. It's not until level 13 that you get 3rd level, and not until level 19 you get 4th. I'm totally okay if I can infuse your new cards with that.
Yeah.
But again, both ways. I like yours too. I like yours being able to infuse one card every level with a leveled spell, and that spell is now a cantrip.
First level spell, not like any first level spell, but I think it would be if you could use shield would be crazy. Shield would be like the go-to.
Yeah.
Shield and magic missile, I feel like were what people would likely use every single time. And so I wouldn't necessarily want it to be like, oh, it's like the automatic, like this is the only thing you're ever going to use it for or whatever. But I think you could do some cool stuff with it. I think there's a way to balance it, but yeah.
I like it though. I like this idea of the enchanted draw. It's, again, this is what we wanted to see. It's starting to make me think that I should downgrade the first one because this one's looking a lot more like what we wanted to see. So I might, since we're doing all three of them today, I might be adjusting the numbers here because this one's way more like what we wanted to see.
Sure.
All right, Diamond Dust at level 13. You can shatter reality into razor sharp shards. Once per long rest, you may expend a spell slot of 3rd level or higher to unleash a burst of diamond-shaped arcane fragments in a 15-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a dexterity saving throw against your spell save DC. A creature takes 66 force damage on a failed save, or half as much damage on a successful one. The damage increases by 1d6 for each spell slot above 3rd, but you only can expend a 4th level spell slot, so the max you can do is 76.
Okay. 66 is about fireball damage, so 3rd level spell slot feels fitting.
I would prefer this to say you may expend a spell slot to unleash this burst. a creature takes 2d6 for each spell level.
Slot.
So if you do a
I like
first
that.
level
I
spell,
like
it's
that.
2d6. Second would be 4. Third would be 6. And then the fourth level spell slot would be an 8d6. So if you're going to burn, because again, if you're going to burn your one 4-level spell, let it be for 8d6.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because 7d6, if the rest of these are going to get burnt for 66, this is only going to add a 1d6. I'm sorry, but no. But if each burnt is going to be that much, I would absolutely burn my 4th level for a 66 fireball. Like, you know, equivalent of a 66 fireball or 8d6. So that would be my only change here. I love this. I think it's really cool to burn a spell slot for an ability that's not a spell effect that they could withstand, and it's force damage. So that, you know, that's fine. It's not piercing like you would expect, but it is force damage, which means most things would be affected by it. But that tells me it should. I would just open it up to any spell slot you want to burn. Because especially as a quarter caster,
that would dramatically increase its versatility and usability. Like,
right?
Use it so much more often if you just had more options.
Because if you're a quarter caster and you only have your first level spell slot and it's something like shield or something like crappy, you're just like, well, fuck it, I'm going to use this instead because I can still get 2d6 out of it. I'd much rather want to burn that. And again, it's only once per long rest. So there's nothing wrong with giving them that option. Yes, will most people try to burn the highest 3rd or 4th level? Sure. But in a pinch, it'll still be beneficial. Hell, I know that it sounds weird, but you can even, because this is 13th level, I'd allow this to even be done on cantrips. Because it's only a 1d6. If you think about it, a cantrip would be a 1d6. Who cares if you're doing a 1d6 burst damage every turn? It's at this level, that would be so minuscule, I wouldn't mind it.
I actually think, specifically at 3rd level, I feel like a 15-foot cone is too small. I would love to see at least a 30-foot cone.
Agreed. What do you think about being able to do that though? What if it was the whole Diamond Dust thing was you can replace any spell slot, including a cantrip, with a burst effect? So a cantrip would be a 1d6, then a first level would be 2, then a second level would be 4, then 6, then 8. So it's because a 1d6 burst isn't that big of a deal at level 13. So it's either a cantrip or being able to get people around you.
It should be 15 feet.
Fair. Totally fair.
I think I'm totally down with the leveled spell version of it. I think that's phenomenal. I think what
if every level also increased the range? So what if a cantrip
worked that out in my head a second ago.
So what if it was like 10 feet? So a cantrip was 10 feet and then 20, 30, 40 and 50 at the max. So a 4th level spell would be 50 feet at 8d6.
Just because of how I'm trying to think of like how cones spread and how easy it is to like measure like a 10-foot to 15-foot and like the only types of cones I've actually seen like in written media is 15-foot, 30-foot, and 60-foot, and I'm not really sure about 30-foot. It's mostly 60-foot for like Cone of Cold, 15 feet for like things like
Scorching Ray or whatever, or
Burning Hands.
Burning Hands, that's the one.
So I'm just trying to. I really think that I would want at least 30 feet at 3rd level. But I kind of like the 10 feet idea. I was thinking about like trying to double it every time, but then that gets complicated because I would want it to be 15 feet at one point, and there's no half of that.
Yeah, but I don't mind 10, 20, 30, and 4. Like, you know, like those, yeah. So I think that like it's a cool ability. I just think that it could actually be more versatile. I think we could do more with it. Whether I think at bare minimum, at this level, especially for what we know about it, I'd like something unique. I'd like this to be available across any level of spell, whether it's cantrip or not. I'd still like this to see me be able to do this with any level of spell with a range of damage. Because I do like the ability, but starting at 3rd, if I cap at 4th, it's not worth it. It's never worth it to really do that 4th level spell. You know what I mean?
It's only 1d6. I'm using my one But now, if I just need a lot of damage and I just need to cast this spell again, and it's just a perfect thing, of course I'm going to cast it for sure. I mean, of course I'm going to take that extra 1d6, but it doesn't feel worth it to choose that in any scenario. It doesn't feel like, oh, I'm getting my money's worth. Or
And at 13th level, like I only have 2 third level spells. And I'm not going to get my 4th until 19th. So it's like saying that you can use only a 3rd or higher. It's like, that basically means I can only use my highest.
Especially if you get access to counterspell, are you really going to say, I'm going to use this instead of having it available to have a counterspell ready?
Fair. Like, so that's where I would like to see this have a scale range.
Yeah.
But still cool. I love the idea of burning a spell to do a different type of like emanation of damage. That's fucking sick.
Yeah.
High stakes, 17th level. When you gamble your magic, fate tilts in your favor. Once per long rest, when you cast a spell of 1st level or higher, you may declare it a high stakes cast and roll a d20. If you cast 11 or higher, the spell is cast the highest spell slot you have available without expending that spell slot. So it auto upcast to the highest slot you have available without burning anything. And 10 or lower, the spell is cast normally using the intended spell slot, but you suffer 2d6 psychic damage as your mind strains against the odds. So I love that there's a buff debuff here. I love that. I would, because we're talking about like gambling, I would like this to have 3 ranges. I would like this to have a pass, fail, and detriment range. Like I love the idea of taking psychic damage, but I feel like that should be like 5 or less. And then like 5 to 12, the spell cast normally, and then 12 or higher or 14 or higher, it casts the highest available. Something like that. I feel like there should be a better spread here, but I love this. I love the idea of taking the chance.
Agreed.
I like the idea of taking psychic damage. You know, but I would like a little bit more.
I'd make one change specifically due to the ability above, and that would be, instead of saying when you cast a spell, I would say when you expend a spell slot. So it would include when you use the last ability. You know what I'm saying? Because theoretically that ability above isn't a spell. It's expending a spell slot to do a thing, right?
Oh, but you want this to be able to use high stakes. So you want to be able to activate Diamond Dust as a high stakes. So you could.
That would be cool. You know, add a little synergy. I can do my class stuff, and it'll activate my class stuff.
I like that.
So add a little bit in there, and the infusing of the cards. What do we actually infuse spells?
It gains minor magical effects in addition to its own ability determined by the DM. For example, the card might allow the cantrip, magic hand, or 1st level spell. So it's basically just saying that you and the DM need to work out what you can do to your cards.
So I would love it, and if this was more solidified, if this was more mechanically ingrained in here, like specifically saying every time you do this, it's gonna have a spell in it or something like that. I would say that if you are casting a spell that is from one of your enchanted cards, you have advantage on your d20 roll or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be cool. You know what I mean? Like saying, because this is our capstone, right?
Yeah. I'd also like this to be more than once per long rest, even once per turn, especially with this kind of a detriment. Like this can even go up for every failure this turn, this combat, right? Or since your long rest. Like, so it's like it's 2d6 for every failure since your last long rest. So,
like that.
So if you keep trying to do high, because again, it's high stakes, right? If you keep doubling down, it's going to keep hurting. But I would love to do this once per turn. Anytime I cast a spell, I can double or nothing, kind of like that double or nothing feat, right? I can try to do more, but every failure, it's going to hurt more and more each time.
Ooh, how about you really want to be able to use it more and really want a detriment to them? And like really want them to like choose how worth it is for them to use it. The first time is free. every time after costs you a level of exhaustion.
Ooh, that's okay.
Will kill you if you try and use it too much, and it'll hurt a lot. Like
Okay. You want to talk about gambling? No, I got it. Here we go. You can gamble your magic, fates tilt in your favor. So you can go one of two ways with this, right? Once per long rest when you cast a spell. Okay, I would do one of two things here. This would be very unique. One would be more complicated, but one option is you gamble your spell slots. Where anytime you cast a spell, you can, before you roll, gamble a certain number of unused spell slots. Right? And each spell slot is considered how many there are. So a first level spell slot's 1, a second level spell slot's 2. And then you roll the high or low. And if you get 11 or higher, that's how many d6 per spell slot. So if you did a 1 third level spell slot, that's 3d6. But if you did a third and a second, that's 5d6 extra. But if you roll 10 or lower, you take half of that as psychic damage.
There would have to be a huge buff a huge boon for me if I win with what I'm gambling, because
that's my point. Is it's adding all that extra damage. So when I cast a spell, right, and then I gamble a fifth, or let's say I cast one spell, that's a first level, but I gamble my third and second level spell slot. If I roll high enough, I'm gonna add 5d6 because I'm adding a d6 for every spell slot I gamble.
The damage of the spell?
Yes, the damage of the spell will go up by a d6 for every.
What is a spell like counter spell?
Even that, you can just say any spell you cast, if it's successful, can do damage to the target. Like, so I mean, I don't know, but like it would only be damage dealing spells. But the other option, here's the other option. Again, you could just even put in only damage dealing spells, right? Only attack spells. But the option B for truly gambling, right? You want to talk about high stakes, is what if you were able to gamble hit points? And the higher or low means you can either do that much extra damage, but if you go low, you lose that much life. So you can gamble 50 points of your life to do 50 more points of damage, but if you fail, you're losing 50 points of life. Now that might be extreme. Maybe it's like half, or what for 2 for 1. But
I will say, and only because I recognize that not necessarily all the spells do damage, and I would like it to be valuable for all of the spells. So like, imagine if, say you've expended 3 of your spell slots already, right? I can. But like I whatever spell slots I have left, I can gamble those away. And if I'm successful, I get those expended spell slots back. But if I fail, I lose the spell slots that I have left.
Interesting.
Right? So, like, it's really, really high stakes. It's like I could get some spell slots back, but I could also lose everything that I have.
That would be interesting.
So
I like that.
Same thing. I genuinely think you could do the exact same thing for health, right?
Right.
I could heal myself, or I could hurt my fucking self. You know what I mean? So
I love this idea. I love this idea of having. I just think that this buff isn't that big. Like a 2d6 is pretty bad, but I feel like it just needs a bigger spread. I feel like there needs to be more options, and I feel like the debuff needs to be worse, because I feel like I'd take this for a 50-50 chance of 2d6 damage, because the spell will still go off. The only downside is that I take damage, but the upside is totally worth it.
So, this would be interesting. If instead, like, it still does a 2d6, but instead of yes, it casts normally, but it will consume the spell slot it normally costs and your lowest level spell slot available.
Oh, so it burns both spell slots. Ooh, I like that.
It burns 2 spell slots. It burns
yeah, both of them. The one you tried to use, the up, yeah. That is actually, I am better with that. I am better with that. If you're gonna get a spell slot for an upcast for free, you need to risk burning the highest spell slot.
Yes.
And I wouldn't even mind that being a range where it's like 10 or, you know, between 5 and 10, you lose the upcast, or you lose only the spell slot that you used, but 5 or lower, you lose both.
Exactly.
So something like that. So yeah, so 11 or higher, you upcast it for free. 10 to 5, you burn the original spell slot, and 5 or lower, you burn the lower and the upcast spell slot. That feels great.
That middle range a little bit, so it's not just like way weighted to the player.
That's fair, but I like that spread better.
Yeah.
That feels great. Is having to risk that burning that spell slot versus having it for free sounds great. I love that.
I feel that.
All right, I really like this one. I like this one more than the last one, so I'm gonna adjust that a little bit. I'm gonna drop the last one, the Suit of Spades, to a 6 and give this one a 7.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because this one is not quite perfectly compatible, but this one is absolutely better than the last one. But the last one doesn't deserve quite a 5, but this one doesn't quite deserve an 8. You know what I mean? But they're also not on the same page, so I'll have to just adjust those real quick. We got one more. We're doing actually pretty good. This is actually a really nice flow.
Yeah. This is going well.
All right, last one. We have the Suit of Hearts, the Joker. All right, the Suit of Hearts is Chaos Incarnate, the wild card in every hand. Gambitiers who walk this path embrace unpredictability, thriving on sudden bursts of fortune, madness, and mischief. Some see them as fools, others as geniuses, but none can deny that when the Joker plays their hand, no one knows what will happen next. All right. I have so many ideas. I'm not going to say it right now because we have to get through it, but I have so many ideas of what I hope to see and what I expect to see on this one. So let's find out. All right. We have 4 abilities. Once again, interesting that all of these have only 4 level ups. I'm assuming that's because this was done relatively quickly and not specific to other Fallout, like other classes, because...
So there are some classes, because we've talked about this before, there are some classes that have very few progression points.
It's interesting that all the subclasses follow the same. Well, I guess that most subclasses do, right? Because that you have to for that.
Because they fill in the slots of the main class.
That's fair. For some reason, I was expecting these to kind of like, I guess, adjust as we go, but I guess that's not really normal. Never mind. Ignore me. It's been a long week, and it's only Monday.
What? It is only Monday.
It's this time of year is like that at my job. Every Monday is a fucking week.
This is very fair.
All right, so we have at 3rd, 7th, 13th, and 17th, we have Wild Draw, Chaotic Resilience, Double Joker, and Royal Fool. Let's find out. All right, Wild Draw at 3rd level. Whenever you gain a new card from your Chaos deck, that's exactly what we want to hear. You must also roll on the Wild Draw table. We'll get to that in a second. Determine a random magical or chaotic effect. These effects are instantaneous and can be beneficial, harmful, or simply strange. You also learn Prestidigitation cantrip if you don't already know it. So I'm hesitant because you draw a lot of cards on the main class. And this feels like it's dipping into the wild magic deck of many things era. And that could just be a little bit too much for a gaming session. So I'm not going to make any hesitation, or I'm not gonna make any judgments yet.
A lot of cards, but you only draw them when you level up. So it's
True.
gonna be once in a while. And these feel like instantaneous effects. So some of them may have lasting effects, but it feels like a lot of them will be here and then gone.
But depending on what they are, it's just that's a lot of chances to mess with the game in ways that aren't always compatible.
Absolutely.
So we'll see. I'm gonna hold judgment. But for the start, I mean, literally jumping out the gate with basically wild magic, crazy.
Rod of Wonders.
All right, so at 7th level, Chaotic Resilience. Chaos protects you when fate turns grim. Once per short rest, when you would be reduced to 0 hit points. You instead drop to 1 and immediately roll on the wild draw table. Okay. Not bad.
Okay, so you get like a what do they call it with the half orcs? The relentless endurance or something like that.
Yeah, and that's where the resilience comes in. Okay, so you come back up to 1 hit point instead, and then you go on the draw table. I kind of dig that. I kind of dig it.
Tapping into our wild draw table. Got you.
Okay. This one's really leaning into that draw table. Double Joker. When you trigger a wild draw, so basically whenever you draw a card or whenever you go to 0 hit points, you may roll twice on the table and choose which result takes effect. Okay, so now we're getting more control over the chaos. If both results would be harmful to you, you may choose to apply neither, but you gain 1 level of exhaustion as fate demands its price.
Interesting cost.
I love it. I
see what the bad things are to see if a level of exhaustion feels balanced.
I was gonna say 1 level of exhaustion does not seem balanced simply because that can be taken away simply with a long rest. I would love that to be a roll. Like, if you really want this to feel that good and you really want to give them the option to not take a detriment, I would do like a 1d4 worth of levels of exhaustion. Because then it's still chaotic. It could be very minimal, but it could also be extremely detrimental to take that chance.
I definitely hear you. I'll reserve my judgment on that until I see how bad the bad things are.
I agree with you.
Like, you twist your ankle, like that's nothing compared to a level of exhaustion, So.
Right. Or you lose 1 AC for, the next combat. Like, okay, but
sure.
There's big deal with if you have to like burn time versus if it's something that you can just say, hey, DM, can we just like not do the thing for a little while and until my thing's gone? So yeah. We'll reserve it, but for right now, I'd like it to be a little more than 1 level of exhaustion. And a roll of 1d4, I think, isn't extreme.
Fair.
And then our capstone, Royal Fool. You can unleash chaos on an overwhelming scale. Once per long rest, you can force a Royal Fool draw, rolling 3 times on the wild draw table and applying all results at once. When you do so, allies within 30 feet may re-roll 1 attack roll, 1 saving throw, or 1 ability check during the next minute as the Ripple of Chaos empowers them. So for the next minute, everyone gets 1 free reroll of a type of their choosing. I'll say I'm not like we're leaning into a table that we don't understand yet, so I'll say that. But an entire class that leans into this roll table, I'm gonna say that like this roll table's got to carry a lot. And this last one, I just don't feel the capstone here because it's like being able to get everyone to reroll 1 roll is nice, but
here's what I want. I want because that's where it said something about for a minute.
Yeah, so for the next minute, once per long rest, you can so allies within 30 feet may reroll 1 attack, saving throw, or ability check during the next minute.
I wanted to say this. When you do so, for the next minute, allies may choose attacks, saving throws, or ability checks. For the next minute, they can, like once per turn, they can re-roll a thing that they chose, right?
Okay. So they have to choose which one they want, and then they get, for the next minute, they get to re-roll any of those types.
Attack rolls. For me, if it's attack rolls, once per turn, I can re-roll an attack roll. For somebody else, if it's saving throws, once per turn, or once per round, they can re-roll a saving throw. Ability checks, same deal. But they get that for a whole minute. That would feel way more like you're doing something than just once in the next minute.
Right. Honestly, if you wanted to, if you wanted to make it even more of this like randomness, add a 4th one. So say that Royal Fool, once per long rest, you can do the Royal Draw. You do 3 and all 3 effects happen. Additionally, allies within 30 feet for the next minute may re-roll an attack roll, saving throw, or an ability check if they're, choosing once per turn for the next minute, like you said. Or the other option would be have them, allies within 30 feet, roll a d4. And the d4 would be equal to attack rolls, saving throws, ability checks. So 1, 2, or 3 will mean that for the next minute they get to re-roll any of those.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth ability should be like a massive heal option. Like they get to heal up to their hit die, or they get to roll any number of hit die.
For sure.
So it's like you roll a d4 and you're either going to get a minute of once per turn rerolls, or you're going to get your hit die and healing. I feel like that could be kind of nice. It still feels very chaotic, but you also still get the 3 abilities from the wild table. Because I feel like I like the idea of giving them the chance, but I don't know if I like giving them the option.
Imagine like okay, so instead of giving them the option, I was just thinking, like, I feel like we're going the wrong direction. Like, let's make it even more simpler. So instead of you get to choose which one you want, it's just for the next minute, once per round, you can re-roll an attack roll, saving throw, or ability check.
Okay, so they just get a free reroll of one of those 3 once per turn.
And they just get to expend that motive possibility that they have gained once a round.
I like that.
Whenever they feel like it, right? And just to make it as simple as possible, it's just like, hey, you get it once a round, and it's not crazy. You're not doing it like all the time, Like,
no, I like that. I honestly just being able to do that as a capstone to buff your allies en masse like that, I think is amazing. And again, hopefully the detriments make it worth it. Because right now I'm not sure that rolling 3 times is enough of a potential detriment, but it's still a cool ability. So I do like that. I do like being able to buff your allies like that.
I very much agree.
But only one reroll?
I think I've been reading this wrong, because I read this as when this happens, like a wave goes out and allies within 30 feet get affected by this. But does this sound like it's an aura that lasts for a minute to you? Because it kind of reads like that. Allies within 30 feet. So for the next minute, any ally that's within 30 feet of you can do this.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's them affected for next minute or in your vicinity. I mean, I yes, you could specify the language, and I think it should specify. I don't think it changes that much, but I think it's worth specifying.
For me, it's like if I walk away, or if somebody gets pushed more than 30 feet away from them,
or you added the spell effect. And that's what I think it's worth it. I don't think it's that. I don't think it would change that much, but I do think with 5th edition you need to make sure you know the limitation of it, right? You need to know whether it's once you're in it, is it at activation, or is it anytime during the next minute? That is valid, because there are times where someone's going to be outside of the 30 feet and then enter it, and then what does that mean? So that's I would clean that up.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
I definitely want to see what this table looks like. But
yeah, let's get to that table swing, because we're really like leaning on this table. So let's spend some time here. Okay, so we have a D20. Oh, it's only a D20 too. It's only a D20. I was expecting like a D100, like only 20 effects. Okay.
The actual wild type.
All right, so we're gonna go from starting at 1 and going up to 20. So starting at 1, you are surrounded by spectral playing cards that whirl around you. You gain a +2 AC for 1 minute. Okay. I'm always expecting these to go in order from bad to good, so this one doesn't feel.
I really expected that to be bad, especially a natural one.
Yeah. Okay. So +2 to AC, not bad. Not bad at all. Your hair and eyes change to random colors until your next long rest. So I'm not a huge fan of these in modern D&D because they don't equate to anything. Earlier forms of D&D, stuff like this mattered a lot more. I think DMs were more adequate at figuring out how to make these things work. But honestly, this is one of those things.
Game with NPCs.
Yeah, but no one's gonna care. No one's gonna care that their hair and eyes changed. Like, that's not enough of it. It's funny in the moment, but I don't think for something like this, as the way the subclass works, that's gonna change anything. It's gonna just kind of be a, oh, okay, that happened. You teleport up to 30 feet to a random unoccupied space. The only downside with these is who considers it random. Like, how do you do this for random, right? Like, do you roll for direction, then roll for distance? Do you just kind of choose it as a DM? The downside for things like this is, like, how do you make something like this feel proper and random? I don't mind it. I don't mind the teleportation. It's just, it's a little bit difficult sometimes to handle.
I feel like it's an opportunity for the DM to find a creative way, like a thematic way, like depending on the scenario and the situation. Like, if there was a chance something sketchy would happen, I would make a game out of it. I'd be like, yo, all right, so here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna take this rubber band, I'm gonna take this penny, and I'm gonna fling it towards this line. If it goes over this line, then you fall off the cliff. So if it doesn't go over the line, you're good.
And see, I'm just thinking I would roll like 2 d20s and just look at the map like a grid and just be like, okay, 20 this way, 20 that way. You're teleported over there.
Right. So, just trying to find a way to make it somewhat engaging. But I agree. Like, it's hard to implement that mechanically to where it feels fair. It doesn't feel like the DM's just like, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
But
all right, number 4, a shower of coins rains down in a 10-foot radius. They vanish after 1 minute. Okay, so this is one of those things where this would be a really cool cantrip or like spell, because this could be such a great distraction, but most people don't want to burn spells for distractions. So my only change to this one is it should do damage. Like, there should be, whether it's like centered on the caster or centered like just off of the caster, but anybody caught underneath the shower of coins should take like a d4 or a d6 of damage if they start their turn, because it just should do something, especially if it's centered on the caster, meaning that the caster doesn't immediately move. They're going to get pelted with coins. I feel like it doesn't need to be a huge detriment, but again, who cares? Like, this is going to happen more often than not when you level up, so when nothing's around you.
Long rest or something like that,
or it's going to happen in combat. Neither of these things matter in combat or the moment you level up, unless you're going to do it right outside of a general store, rush in there, make a deal in 1 minute, and rush out before the coins disappear. Make it do a little bit of damage, make it a little bit of a detriment, like you don't want this to happen to you right in the middle of combat.
Absolutely.
Hell, even make it difficult terrain in that 10-foot spot. So not only does it rain on the caster, dealing them and anybody within 10 feet a d6 of damage, but when they leave, it's cost them half their movement because they're slipping on coins.
I'm down for that.
You know what I mean? Just something. Just something.
Give me something. Give me something good.
All right, next one. On a roll of a 5, roll 1d6 on an even. So a roll to do another roll. Roll a d6. On an even roll, you would gain that many hit points. On an odd roll, you take that much force damage.
It's simple enough.
It's simple, but that's it. It's decent. Like, again, it's just not impactful in either direction.
And I think, again, some are meant to be that. Some are meant to.
That's fair. There should be some throwaway ones. Okay.
Like, that are lightweight annoying. Like, imagine if this happened in combat and it just happened to be the 1d6 of damage that killed you. That's kind of what it feels like. This is meant for those type of moments. It's like, oh my gosh, we finally leveled up, guys. God, what the? Like, that would be so insane.
Yeah, fair enough. It just 1d6, but also it just feels like after a minute or after a while, it's like, eh. All right, so if you roll a 6, all ranged attacks you make this turn ricochet to an additional random target within 15 feet. That's dope. That's cool. So you basically get like the ricochet ability from the spades. That's cool.
Yeah.
If you roll a 7, you conjure a spectral jester that mocks nearby creatures. Enemies within 10 feet must succeed a wisdom saving throw or have disadvantage on their next attack roll.
They get heckled?
Yeah. They get heckled by a specter.
You suck!
You stink!
God.
Jackass! You jackass! All right, I like that one, actually. That might be my favorite one so far.
That's very cool.
You roll an 8. You glow with bright light in a 20-foot radius for 1 minute. Actually, that one's not too bad. I'd even give enemies have advantage on hitting you. Kind of like fairy fire.
I'd say ranged advantage, melee disadvantage. Imagine
Fair.
You're just like fighting the sun.
Okay.
Arm, dude.
I like that. Actually, I wouldn't mind advantage on ranged attacks, disadvantage on melee attacks. Actually, that would be kind of dope for a minute, and you get the 1 minute of light. I approve of that one.
It's kind of a little bit of both. You know, we like skirting that line.
On a roll of a 9, a random ally within 30 feet gains inspiration.
Cool.
Okay. Not everything has to be great. Not everything has to be, memorable.
Sure.
On a roll of a 10, your movement speed doubles until the end of your next turn. That's awesome. It's a pretty good one. Right. If you roll an 11, you drop prone and can't stand up until the start of your next turn. Okay. That's a good detriment. I like that one. Roll a 12. You conjure a harmless shower of playing cards that flutter around you for a minute. So, truthfully, just
playing cards fluttering around. The first one gave you playing cards that gave you AC. These playing cards don't do shit.
Roll a 13. You gain resistance to 1 random damage type. Roll a d10 until the end of your next turn. Okay. I like that one.
Cool.
I would love if there was another one that says you gain vulnerability to 1 damage type. Roll a d10.
Yeah.
Roll a 14. You immediately make 1 weapon attack against the nearest creature, friend or foe.
I kind of like that.
That's nice. I always like when you can accidentally attack a friend.
Mm-hmm.
A random creature within 30 feet must succeed on a dexterity saving throw or slip and fall prone.
Okay.
I also like that's also friend or foe.
That is also friend or foe. Again, how are you determining random? But sure.
I mean, that's just that's a die roll. Like you just assign a number and then roll the die.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Distance is harder, right? Like teleportation is a little bit harder, but yeah.
Yeah.
You can adjust the hair and eye color roll to make it vulnerability. Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Swap that out. Yeah.
So the one that's the hair and eye change. I wouldn't mind that, yeah, because to get vulnerability to something like piercing damage or bludgeoning damage in the middle of a fight, not just a magical effect, but to just straight regular damage, to get vulnerable out of nowhere would be great, especially if you're already immune to it, but to then become vulnerable like that, that's insanity.
Actually.
Let's see. Roll a 15. A random creature within 30 feet must make or 7 fall pro. So 16. You and 1 ally of your choice within 15 feet regain 1d8 hit points. Okay. No joke. You know what I want this one instead to say? Either you and 1 ally. Either you and 1 ally of your choice, or you and 1 random ally within a distance, or you and 1 random creature within distance.
Dude, who's the
swap
creature
health
to you? Oh, swap health?
You and a random creature within distance will swap health.
So how would you play it if the creature had 200 HP, but your max is only 50?
You have 150 temp HP.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, what else are you gonna? I mean, I honestly make it work. You just have that much temp HP for the time frame.
That's valid.
That would be, but I mean, how cool would that be? Is you just roll this and you have 5 people around you and you roll a d6 and it's like that person. Well, they're almost dead. Well, now you're almost dead. Sorry. But if it's the BBEG, like you said, if it's the BBEG comes stomping in and you're just like, switch HP, kill him. That you'd be like Captain Guru from DBZ.
Oh,
Change bodies.
oh my, that would actually be kind of wild. That would actually be kind of wild.
Because it would be
I
totally
don't
random too.
that,
So,
that feels like it's on a much higher scale than everything else that's on this list though. That feels like a massive change.
but you kind of need something that's that real chaotic, right? Something that, I mean, because that just doesn't fuck with you. That fucks with everybody on the battlefield. That could change. Your paladin could literally go down to like no hit. Like, you know what I mean? Like you could drastically change. Or what if the paladin's at 1 hit point and you're just outside and you do this and then you suddenly shove them with 100 hit points and then you're the one able to creep away with just 2. Like there's an argument there.
Yes, I would say that would be a lot more. Does it say an ally of your choice? It does say an ally of your choice.
See, I wouldn't, again, I don't mind if it's an ally of your choice. I don't mind if it's a random ally, and I don't mind if it's a random creature. Either one of those verbiages is fine. I just think swapping life instead of both of you healing, I think would be more fun.
I very much agree. I do think it would be way more fun. But my only concern or thought is like how balanced do we want the list? Do we want there to be items on the list that feel dramatically more powerful, more detrimental?
I think because they're always random,
Scale, you know what I'm saying?
I think there should be a scale, but I do think that there should be ones that are like, I never want to roll that, and there are ones where I'm like, I hope I always roll that. But they can't be a lot of them, right? Like this would have to be the one. This would have to be, because this one feels like the neutral one. This could sway the battle in either person's favor, depending upon if you did it with only allies or any creature. Because even if you said you and one creature of your choice within 30 feet swap HP, but that wouldn't be only great. But that wouldn't be great if you meta game with HP knowledge, right? If you know how much HP everybody has, it's not great for meta knowledge. But if you make it random, there's a chance it could benefit you. So I don't mind it if that's like the one neutral one, but then there has to be one really good one and one really bad, like guaranteed. Because this one's not a guarantee, right? This one's that one, or the idea of swapping it would be crazy. But I don't know.
So,
I like that more than just.
about this? What about this? Because I kind of like this idea. I kind of like this idea where you choose a creature, and then you like basically like flip heads or tails, basically, and that creature then, if it lands on heads, switches with the highest HP creature. If it lands on tails, switches with the lowest HP creature.
Interesting. Okay.
Like you could be helping them out or hurting them a lot,
Right.
right? You could be because then it's like you choose ahead of time who I want to affect. So like I'm gonna do something to you over here, right? Now it's a big risk because if you pick somebody, so I say I pick the BBEG, either the BBEG is about to have the most health, or he's about to have almost none.
Yeah.
Which, again,
But
could be
yeah, but that's the thing, is like that would be great if it was more intentional. Like if you could choose to do that, because this is going to be randomized. You know what I mean?
yes, that's fair. That's fair.
Just because it's going to be
Very
randomized, I
much.
feel like it would be a little bit different. But I don't know. I love the idea of the healing. I just feel like a D8 again, kind of like the D6 of damage. It's just, I'm not worried about it in any capacity. I'm not looking forward to it. But if there was a random chance that my life gets swapped with someone and I don't realize who they are,
I
there's
so
something crazy about that.
the damage, it's annoying and it's kind of pointless. I agree that the healing is potentially pointless is the wrong word, but like it not very impactful, right? You're not going to really notice that 1d8 hit points in this particular scenario, especially, well, like you might early on, but like later on for sure it's going to feel less impactful. But
Oh, okay. Again, you want to bring back in that idea of the meta game, right? Like the meta class. When you roll a 16, shuffle the deck and draw a random card or cut the deck. If it's a face card, you gain HP equal to the HP of a target of your choice within 15 feet. So you say however much HP you have, that's how much I heal. If it's a 5 or under, you lose the amount of HP they have. Or you give them, like they get the amount of HP. So if they're at 20, you give up 20 and they gain, like, so that could be it, right? Like either it could be I siphon health or I give you health. But it would have to be like that spread, right? There'd have to be a nothing happens, you get health or they get health kind of spread. Because that would be more like randomized, right? Especially when these things happen. Yeah. But yeah, I like it. I feel like with what we've read so far, I just want this one to be a little bit more.
Sure.
A little bit more. I want to worry every time I roll. Right now, I'm not that worried. You know what I mean? Even the worst ones aren't that bad. I fall prone, big deal. I'll get up. Like,
sure.
I need something that I'm just like, and then even when I roll it, I still want one where I'm like, how is this gonna work out? Is this gonna be like, I want that to be on my edge. We got 4 more. All right. 17. Your voice echoes unnaturally for 1 minute, giving you advantage on intimidation checks, but disadvantage on persuasion checks.
Love that.
Now, another thing I want to say is a lot of these are getting a 1 minute, right? So this one, whenever you draw a card, draw on the table. If you drop to 1 hit point, draw on the table. Whenever you trigger, I feel like you may roll. And in this one, you can force it once per long rest. So another thing that I'm having an issue with is a lot of these last for a minute, but why are they only going to last a minute if I'm only ever doing it, like, unless I drop to 0 hit points that one time during combat? Every other time is only going to be when I draw a card. So, or when I gain a card. I'm sorry, when I gain a card,
or you do the triple at the end of your capstone.
Yeah, so what I would do for these ones that say like a minute, honestly, I'd say a day. Because then you'd have a lot more role play. Like if you were glowing for 24 hours, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't disagree with that. Like I was kind of thinking about that earlier. It's like, hey, like, could we or should we have these things last a lot longer? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because some of these just don't feel right. Like if I just grabbed a card because I leveled up, who cares if my voice echoes for a minute? I just wait in my room for a minute, right? This isn't going to trigger during combat. It's not going to trigger during a situation where I'm going to be talking with somebody.
I'll say, again, kind of like you said, depending upon how you do your game, you could level up in the middle of combat.
It's very rare.
When you kill a certain creature, it's likely going to be when you level up or something like that. So it could be then. But for the most part, every other time other than leveling up that you can trigger this is intentional by you. Not intentional. One is definitely going to happen while you're in combat when you go down. And the other one is going to be when you're triggering your capstone, which is, again, definitely going to be in combat. So,
yeah.
How often can you do the capstone again? It's like, what, once a day?
Once a day, yeah. It's only once per long rest. So I would definitely, even if these decides to until your next long rest. So just basically for the rest of whatever, once you activate it until you go long rest again, like that would make sense.
I feel like that would work for a lot of these, but some of them that could get problematic.
You'd probably have to like change the verbiage on some of them to make them fit.
You can't get up from being prone until a long rest.
Yeah, you'd probably have to change that one to
and I guess the ones that aren't long rest ones, the teleport ones, like the teleport, you just teleport 30 feet. That one's not going to necessarily happen.
I mean, honestly, I would have fun with this. Like, you know, that prone one, I'm looking for it right now where you go prone. Oh yeah, you drop prone and can't stand up to the start of your next turn. What if like this one you could just change because we're going to do the 24 hours thing. So it's like for the next 24 hours, if you move your maximum speed, roll a d6, and on a roll of a 5 or 6, you drop prone. So like you basically during combat, you can't move your full speed or you have to roll to drop prone. So you're basically slower. And then in roleplay wise, you're unsteady. You just have to walk slow to not fall. You're just unsteady. You're dizzy all day. But in combat, you just say that whenever you move your full speed, roll a 5 or a 6. On a 5 or a 6, you drop prone.
Okay.
And then that way in combat, to avoid it, just don't move your whole speed. But that would be a pretty good detriment for 24 hours. You know what I'm saying? Just...
I mean, that's not that crazy. I mean, that is kind of online with the rest of the strength of a lot of the rest of them.
Right. And then like, the glowing bright for 24 hours. I like your idea of range attacks have advantage, melee attacks have disadvantage, and you also can't go stealth. So for 24 hours, you're just fucked. You're just everyone knows where you are. You can't hide it. You're just glowing.
Now, if somebody cast darkness on top of you, I feel like that would still, it wouldn't let your light escape, but when you walked out of the darkness, you'd still be lit up.
Oh yeah. You would still be technically emanating, but you would be emanating. It just wouldn't emanate beyond you, but you would still be emanating light. Gotcha. But yeah, there's a couple of these that you could really have a lot of fun with. I mean, hell, even your range attacks, like, for the next 24 hours, a successful ranged attack will ricochet to a nearby target, make an additional attack roll for him. Like, again, just any of these, you could just say, you conjure a harmless shower of playing cards that flutters around you. Stealth is at disadvantage. You can't make surprised attacks, and you have disadvantage on intimidation or something because you just look ridiculous. So you look like just cards are falling out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could easily reorganize these to last for 24 hours and just be an in-game detriment to that player. Have fun with it. Like, kind of like the Rod of Wonders. Some of the things in the Rod of Wonders really just make it, the players have to sit there and actually enact out why it's a bad thing.
You know what's funny? Going back to that hair color one, imagine if you got, like, advantage on performance checks and disadvantage on all other charisma checks.
Right?
You know what I mean? Like, yes, theoretically, like, as is, it doesn't really do much, but you could add elements like that give it a little bit more purpose.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
But yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think a lot of these could be expanded because I just don't feel like they hit as much for when you get the cards.
With what we're seeing as the strength of these, how, like, and looking back at the class, I'm trying to feel like, okay, first question would be the exhaustion. Do you feel like that's a fair compromise for the double or nothing? The double joker where both results would be harmful. I can choose neither, but gain a level of exhaustion.
To be honest, there's not enough detriment here to
come off also at a long rest. So with your adjustment, it would basically last until a long rest, just like everything else would.
Well, let me read these last 3 because right now there's not a lot of detriments. Like, really, none of the detriments like. So I'll fall prone, and
take a d6 of damage.
Or take a d6 of damage, or right, like, what do you consider bad? Is glowing bright a detriment? Is that a negative effect? Like, no, a level. I would take these 2. I would take any of these 2 over exhaustion any day.
Sure.
But we got 3 more. So 18, illusionary duplicates of yourself appear and last for 1 minute, like the mirror image spell. Okay. 19, the next attack roll made against you before the end of your next turn has disadvantage. And on a 20, roll twice on this table. Both effects occur. If you roll another 20, the effect cascades. So keep on going. Yeah. So, I mean, other than your hair color, maybe teleport, maybe coins, maybe 1d6 damage, and maybe brightness, but like there's not a lot. There's maybe 5 detriments on here. Like, what detriment on here, other than going prone at the absolute worst possible moment, what 2 detriments on here would you be so afraid of that you'd rather take exhaustion?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's a
Like,
great question.
you know what I mean? And you know what we could do is, again, if we're trying to make this one of those things where, like, we don't want everything to be crazy and like not useful, but it's like this really leans on these draw tables, but they only happen when I gain new cards. So when I level up, and then they only happen a limited time. So really, unless I go down in the middle of combat, it's only when I do Royal Full that I'm really going to get any actual use from this draw table, like 90% of the time, because most of these things aren't permanent. Almost what I would want, to be honest, is 2 draw tables, a permanent draw table and an active one. So whenever I gain a new card, like during my my level ups, I would get like a passive ability, and then I have these other things that I'd be able to do from this draw table, because I just don't feel like it's going to come up enough. I don't feel like this class is doing much other than giving me very temporary effects, but they're not even happening that often. So it doesn't even feel like I'm, you know, that chaotic and crazy. It's just like, hey, every now and again, something weird's going to happen for a little bit, and then it's going to go away. So yeah, I would just like, I'd like more, I'd like more understanding of what this is supposed to be, because it also feels like yes, you get prestidigitation, but there's not a lot to tell me whether or not this is going to be suited for a melee fighter, a magic user, or a ranged fighter. Like, there's nothing really specific to what type of player I would be. It's really just pointing to random magic effects. So,
And which is to a certain extent kind of fair, giving you the option to play this however you want, so it's not, you know, prescriptive, but it's subscriptive, and which I feel like more things can use that, but at the same time it doesn't. It also, I feel like, should help guide you as to the direction you're going to be playing your character, even if it's not telling you ranged or melee. um it's like, hey, this is the play style you're going for. But, and you know, I get that it's supposed to be kind of just a little bit more chaotic, but like, are you, I don't know. um I'm looking at the wild magic sorcerer table, and I'm trying to compare their effects to these. And again, most of these are just spell effects that just occur, or some things like regaining hit points and other stuff like that. Um, but although one is your hair falls out but grows back within 24 hours, that's so wild.
and
That's so wild.
again, things like that, just, you know, it's hard to actually utilize those in game.
Cast mirror image, yeah. So
I mean, some of these could even be like rewritten to like, mm, like, I almost, because it leans so much into this, what I'm thinking is that I would revamp this. I would revamp a lot of these abilities because you have 20 of them. I would go through and have each one have a positive and negative effect, but not so much that it would ruin a game style, but enough to be fun and interesting and dynamic. And rewrite this to where every time you gain a new chaos deck, you have the choice to redraw, or you have to redraw. So every time you change a card, you have to redraw on the wild table. Then what it would do is each one of these would be permanent until you drew another card. And then this way, you would have a constantly ever-changing level by level character that has different effects, because this is really supposed to be the Joker, the wild card, right? You said wild card in every hand, is kind of the idea. So what if we rewrote the abilities so where at third level, whenever you draw a new card from the Chaos deck, you draw a number, of the wild table as well. But we rewrite these to be more permanent effects until you level up or until you draw another card. So something along the lines of, this one, you gain a +2 to AC, but you have disadvantage on ranged attacks because, you have cards around you. So it's harder to aim because you can't see, right? So that would be a permanent effect. So, and again, because this isn't necessarily meant for a melee or ranged, it's meant to be kind of a flow character. That kind of dynamicism could be more interesting. Because if I'm going to be drawn to this right now, this is basically saying, hey, be whatever you want to be, but there's going to be some very random, short-lived things that happen to you. But if you told me every time you level up, you're going to have a new random effect hit you, and the old one's going to drop off, and both of those could be good, bad, or both, that would be more enticing to play, because it's kind of like, I don't know what I'm going to play every gaming session, because every time I level up, I'm going to get a rearrangement of effects. That would be more interesting to me than this.
I agree with this. I agree with this a lot. I love the idea of like permanent effects that affect you until this occurs another time. I especially like the idea that whether you like it or not, you roll on the table and you get a new effect and it replaces the old effect. And
right.
This happens. And the only exception to that is going to be your Royal Fool, when you do it on purpose and you roll 3 times. Now,
yeah, that would be maybe something, whether it's a different roll table or something.
I think you can use the same roll table, like depending on how we set these up and how powerful they are. Again, this is specifically for Royal Fool, and I think what you could do is just adjust it a little bit and basically say that the 3 effects, all 3 of them are in effect until the end of combat.
Oh, okay. In addition to all of your previous effects. So basically it's like 3 additionals. And they could stack depending on the situation. They either could stack or you re-roll. Because like I'm looking at these, like, like this one, you glow with a bright light. What if this was bright light emanates from your eyes until you level up? You cast 20-foot cone of light, and if you're able to be light within line of sight, range attacks have advantage, but melee would have disadvantage. So you could still say all the same things, but you reword it to where coming from your eyes would make more sense than coming from your whole body. And you could play that off better in role play. You can close your eyes, you can wear sunglasses, you can cover up your head. But if you look at people, they obviously see your eyes are like glowing like fucking headlights. That could be interesting to play until you level up again.
Here's what I worry about. Say they find one really cool. Say you get this one where your eyes are glowing, right? Like, I imagine somebody wanted to end up doing like a grift of some sort. They put like a blindfold on you and they like turn you into some like blind old like what do you call it, like deity or something like that, right? They're trying to pass you off as something crazy. And so in order to get a very specific effect from the wild draw table, say they have like a week to pull this off, right?
Uh-huh.
Every day they take as many short rests as possible and they just keep beating you up until you go down and then you come back up with 1 hit point and you roll on the wild draw table and you're like, did we get it? No. All right.
I mean, if you really wanted to play that gameplay, fine. But I'm just saying,
But to be honest, like, you can do that regardless.
Yeah. But I think these could easily be like rewritten. Like, again, even like this one, your movement speed doubles until the end of your turn. So your movement speed doubles, but you can never move like less than 15 feet at a time. So if you're near an edge, you got to be really careful how you move and make sure like someone's in your way or there's like a wall. So it's like no matter when you move, you have to move at 15-foot increments, but your speed is doubled. Dude, so you have, or not 15-foot increments, but like a minimum.
To the extreme, like double your movement speed, but you have to move all of it every time.
Oh, Or no. You double your movement speed, but that includes your minimum. So that means that instead of just being able to like take one step, you always have to take two. Instead of moving 5 feet, you have to move 10. Like literally everything you do in speed terms is double. So if you're near an edge and you want to move towards the edge, you have to move 10 feet towards the edge. You can't just move 5. If you, but that's for everything. If you want to move 10 feet, you move 20. So whatever you move, it's so literally you just say your movement speed is doubled, meaning every time you move, if you move 5, you technically move 10. That would be wild. And then you could play it off as just you look like you're moving at super speed to other people. Like you just look like you're like hyper and just constantly like just buzzing around.
Yeah. I don't know why, but I'm imagining like, all right, so move your character where you want to move it. You have your 30 feet movement speed. They move their character there. Then you move their character an additional 30 feet in the same trajectory. It's like, okay, so it's like in order for them to like go where they want to go, like move your character, they have to move it like halfway between where they are and where they want to be, and then you put the rest of
them. Here's another one. Which one was I just looking at? So a random ally within 30 feet gains inspiration. So this one you would rewrite whenever an ally rolls like an ability check or something, you roll it with them. If you get the same thing, they gain inspiration. So like if they're going to roll a history check and they roll an 18, you also roll a history check or you roll a d20. And if you also roll an 18, they get inspiration. So that's how you get random inspiration for the entire time, is whenever somebody within 30 feet does an ability check, you roll with them. If you match their roll, you quote unquote randomly give them inspiration.
Okay.
So it's a simple thing that you would do is anytime someone does a roll around you, you just roll with them.
I like that. I would expand it to if you match them or you crit.
Okay, fair enough.
Just to give them a slightly more of an opportunity.
But there's easy ways that you could like just rewrite these to be more permanent, but still feel, because I would play this character. Like I would play a character that every time I leveled up, I just get a wash of random shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like this would be fun. Like right, like just to change up the dynamic of how you would play games. Like, oh my god, you gain resistance to a damage type for until you level up. You just gain resistance to a damage type. Who doesn't want that until you level up next?
You know what's crazy though? You're gonna be trying real hard not to go down, because the second you go down, you're gonna lose that resistance.
Yeah. Oh, and if you wanted to make everything balanced for this one, say you have to roll 2 d10s. 1 d10 you get resistance in that damage type. The other d10 you get vulnerability. Same one, nothing happens. So basically you roll for 2 different damage types. One goes up and one goes down. But if it's the same one, nothing happens.
That might be too much. I was gonna say I kind of like the idea of giving a little bit of love to the person. If you get both of them the same, give them immunity. Like, why not make it dope?
That's fair. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Why not hook them up a little bit? You know?
Actually, I mean, I'm okay leaning into that. That's cool. Yeah, that would, like this one for the next number 19 until you level up, once per turn you can inflict disadvantage on an attack roll. So just any attack roll against you once per turn, you can say this one has disadvantage. Why not? Like before the attack roll happens, you can once per turn before the attack roll, you can declare that you want it to have disadvantage, and that just happens until you lose this ability, right? That's a very easy way to make this one feel okay. It's only once per turn. Like, I don't think that's too bad. Even if you wanted to be once per short rest.
And again, this makes it feel like you're adding to your build, and that build is shifting. It's a part of what you can do and who you are, not just a passive thing that like happens for a second and then disappears, and then you're just this normal person, right?
Right.
This makes it more feel like you are this ever-changing thing, right?
Mm.
You are embodying the chaos rather than just like something random stuff happens to you every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Oh, the you and your ally of choice get like the 1d8. We were talking about this one a lot. What if this one is like you permanently get like either a bump to your permanent HP for a like a temporary permanent HP bump, or what if like this one until you level up at the end of every short rest gain temporary hit points equal to a hit die. So every time you wake up, you just start with like temp HP.
I've been thinking about this, and I don't think this would be too crazy. Give them a lightweight regeneration ability.
There you go.
Combat, at the start of every one of your turns, you get 1d8 hit points.
Yep.
Like, I think that would be crazy, but that would be dope. Like, that would be too. That feels like a build enhancement. It's like, yo, I now have this cool ability that I can now use, right? And if you really want to lean into sharing it with your allies, you can be like, every turn you can choose whether you get it or somebody within 30 feet of you get it. If there's nobody within 30 feet of you, obviously you're using it. But if there is, then hook it up.
I got an idea for this one. The shower of coins rain down in a 10-foot radius. They vanish after 1 minute. Mm-hmm. What if this one is like a number of gold coins drop every time you take damage? They vanish if you die. So not enough to like, you know, abuse and get like, you know, rich off of, but it would just be kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, you just every time you get hit, you just like, and then just like a couple coins drop from you.
Because this is something that's lasting until your long rest, I think there's room for some very out of combat uses as well. And like, imagine if every time you were going to pay somebody, you had to like roll, I don't know what you think is fair, a d10, and if it's evens, there's that many additional coins in what you were going to pay them. But if it's odds, there's that many less coins in what you were going to pay them.
Interesting.
You're trying to short me, or like, oh, you gave me a tip and you hooked it up. You created some favor. You know what I mean? So,
I like that.
And then just all of a sudden, somebody comes at you, hey, short me. I'm like, no, I wasn't trying to short you. I don't know what you're talking about. Here.
Right.
It's like 10 extra gold. It's annoying, but you know.
I like this. I think this is great. There's a lot here. I think this could be a lot of fun. Oh, this one could be interesting. For the teleport, 30 up to 30 feet to a random unoccupied space. What if this one was whenever you move your maximum distance? So essentially in combat, whenever you move your full speed, you know, like roll, I guess like a D6 or a D4 or whatever, and you will randomly teleport in a you know, to the square like adjacent in that direction. You know, so like you go 30 feet, but then you roll a D4 and you either go left, forward, right, or back one square. So it's like, I want to go here. Wait, teleport. Boop. Nope. You're here. Like just almost something like that, where whenever you do something, you trigger a random teleport and you have to like do that. So it's like, if you're not paying attention, you're just like, fuck, I did use all my speed that time.
So I don't know exactly how you would do it, what rolls you would make for it, but I like the idea of like when you're moving, like you have the chance, like whenever you're moving, whatever your speed is, you have the chance to teleport there. Like just like you regularly move there like you would normally move, you teleport there from start to finish, or you get there and then teleport back to your starting spot.
Oh, that would be funny, bro. That would be great. And if you get the teleport there, you don't lose your movement speed.
Yes.
So you still keep your movement speed.
Yes.
That would be funny. Yeah, if you teleport there, you don't lose your movement speed, or you get there and then you teleport back.
This spot over here. I'm gonna get there. I'm fine. I'm running over to the spot over there. I get there. Boop, teleported back.
Lost all your
I'm running
movement.
over to the spot over there. I ended up 30 feet past where I was because I teleported instantly. So crazy.
That would be fun. That would be funny. I kind of like that. Okay. Okay. Well, we've given a lot of ideas for this one. So I think the biggest thing is that with this subclass, it's not enough. It doesn't fulfill a whole class worth of stuff. It leans a lot on the table that doesn't do enough for long enough. So
I definitely agree. I will say that I think that the class, the subclass itself, does lean on the table a lot.
I do love that. I love the idea.
I do too. I do too. And if the table was adjusted, I feel like it would feel a lot more fulfilling.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed. I think that the problem is not the way the class leans on the table, it's the way that the table activates. It's not enough to build a whole class around.
So, again, it doesn't, I want that difference between something happening to me every once in a while and me feeling like I have a new build every time this thing occurs, right? Like that is what I feel like would cause me to grasp onto this more than anything else.
I'm going back to this line right here. A wild card in every hand. I want to feel that. And right now, I don't. But if this thing literally every time I leveled up and I drew a new chaos card from the main class and I just got a brand new wipe of feats, you know what I mean? Constantly dealing with a randomized, not even a real randomized character, right? But just giving me new skill sets and making me more versatile with my weapons, more versatile with the way that I attack. I love that.
Wild. In a long-term campaign, imagine like you and your party are like going up and doing certain things, and maybe there's like a rival adventuring party that you come up against, and you might have to like eventually battle, or you just have a reoccurring villain or whatever, right? And so you're out here, you're fighting. The villain thinks they know you, they've seen you in battle, I've seen what you can do, and all of a sudden, the next time they see you, you're doing completely different shit.
Right?
Your kit works completely fucking different. It's like that to me is the real wild card. It's like when you think you know, when the enemy comes, they do research on you, they look at you, they watch you, they're like, boss, I'm watching this guy every time they're in battle, like every couple of months, every time I see them in battle, they're doing something completely different. They're operating differently. I can't get a read on this guy. I don't know what they're doing. Like that to me is just it's another element of gameplay. It's another layer that doesn't get seen a whole lot, but I think you could do a lot with a class like this. So I love what it does. I love its purposes. But like you said, to see it.
Yeah, I would just like more. I would like longer lasting abilities. I'd like the abilities to trigger more often, and I really feel like that we're onto something because there are no other classes that change up like that, and that would sell me so quick to tell me that every time I level up, I'm not going to fundamentally make a new character, but I'm just going to have a random selection of these random buff debuff combos. But all of them are, whether they have buffs and debuffs doesn't matter. The fact that they all lead to a unique approach to the same game style, whether I'm an archer or whether I want to be melee or a paladin, like the idea that this doesn't really have, because it's a class that's really, it's just a it's like a, what is it, like just a wild magic druid or something, right? It's not really, it's not quite a magic caster and it's not quite a melee, so I really could be anything else I wanted. But I just feel like I really want this to make me want to like lean into what else I'm doing.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, like it doesn't have what I would consider as much integration as the last class with the main class, but it uses its mechanics enough to make it still feel like it's a part of a main class,
Right.
like the first one.
Man, you know what would be a cool ability? What if one of the roles that you could do when you rolled it, you had, kind of like the other one that I made fun of earlier, that, you roll and then you have to roll again. But what if one of them changed, like, maybe it would be too much to change, like, your attack modality. Like, what if one could actually change you being like, going from ranged weapons to melee weapons to dual hand? Like, what if one could, like, change your affinity for a certain weapon? I don't know if that might be too much, because again, this class doesn't really tell you how to play it.
It doesn't. I would say, like, it would have to say something like any of your ranged weapon attacks are now considered melee weapon attacks.
Oh, God, yeah. That's
in kits that have the ability to affect those things.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, if I had like a feat that was like, yeah, you get a +2 to your ranged weapon attacks. Well, either I don't get that +2 anymore, or I get it on my melee attack.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I just wanted to feel like it applies to the other thing, but I don't think that's impossible to do.
Yeah, so I like this one. I agree with you. This one's not quite as, like, attached as the others, because I will say, as much as I love the idea of leaning at the roll table as is, there's nothing really to this class, and the roll table doesn't hold it up enough.
Sure.
But I think it has potential, because it is one of the most unique ideas for having a class that changes and dynamically so. So
Sure.
I think I'm going to give this a nice little rollout here. So I think I'm going to give all of them are going to get the inspiration point for sure. This one just feels like it gives me the least, so I'm the least interested in it, but I'm actually the most excited for its potential. So I'm going to give the Suit of Hearts a 5. I'll give the Suit of Spades a 6, because I really liked this idea, but I would just modify the verbiage and just how the abilities work. But Suit of Diamonds gets the 7. Like, the Suit of Diamonds was the closest to being complete, the closest that felt right. Very minimal in terms of changing. It felt like it did what it wanted to be for a quartercaster. And it tied in with the main class. So a 5, 6, 7 for these 3. I like them. I think they do all well. I think they all shine much more than the main class, which is what you want subclasses to do, right? You want subclasses to really stand out better than the main class, though I do think they're all a bit held back by the main class. I think once the main class gets a little bit, like, tightened up, and then these call to that main class a little bit more and synergize, I think they all have a great future. I think all of these are well on their way to being perfectly established. I just think that there's a little bit more work that needs to be done on them to bring them all, like, to a big picture.
For sure, I get that.
But yeah, so if ironically, the main class got a 4, so that's a 4, 5, 6, 7 for this group. That's kind of, I didn't plan that, but that's exactly how it's going to end up, is 4, 5, 6, 7.
Oh, 4, 5, 6, 7.
6, 7.
Wild.
Fix your camera. Broken. There.
Now that I'm doing remote more often,
What's up? You broke up there a little bit.
I know these seeds are a little bit different. And now that I've hopefully got my camera set, I got a marker for my camera.
Hey, there you go. I mean, it's working now. We got you dialed in. Now we just need to get you with the green screen, and then we can start doing backgrounds and shit.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I want to do that. I might have to order that next payday.
Do it. I'm actually really surprised, though. 2.5 hours. We got through 3 reviews. Not bad.
Yeah, man. But I mean, Soul's got a lot of his stuff dialed in, and I don't know exactly how old this is, Soul. If this is something that you made towards the beginning of your homebrewing career, or if this was more recent. Pretty sure you said this was for a contest. This was like a themed contest.
Yeah, it was like done relatively quickly, so it makes sense why not everything was like absolutely like perfectly dialed in. This definitely wasn't like, months in the making. But I mean, the concept is there. The concept is amazing. I would, as Soul, if you take any of the advice that we talked about and develop these, I'd love to see what you would do with the fourth subclass, like dialing in
So
the club's
they were
subclass.
actually talking about that earlier. What statement did they make about it? They said something about
Because even that way, you could really lean into it where Diamond's magic, Heart is this, kind of crazy Joker one. Spade, you could put more to like the melee slash and piercing, and then Club could be bludgeoning focused, right? Like realistically, we could like get the entire gambit of all of the play types, magic, distance, up close, and kind of cover everything.
I'll consider this for the final missing subclass, the suit of clubs. We must have been talking about something.
Oh, I think that was when we were talking about the different magic types and like how to like develop it.
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. So yeah, so let us know. The meta subclass build. Oh, right. Actually pulling from the deck of cards and out of game and affecting what happens in game.
Got you.
That'd be cool. That would be really cool to have like a subclass where it's like, all right, well, hey dealer, high low to this enemy before he attacks me, or disadvantage. Like just shit like that would be fucking cool. You just target someone, be like, here, get being able to give someone like advantage on a roll by them pulling from your deck and getting a certain card.
Right.
Like that would just be there would be some value in that, I think. And I think the DM could have a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah. No,
Alrighty.
cool. One of my favorite moments is when I was a divination wizard and I got to, you can like roll your portents and like you can change a die roll. It's like you see in the future, like, oh, I know.
Portents are so great.
Oh my god, I love being able to be like, that didn't happen, or like, again, not like a disrespectful way, like you're like, but just being able to be like, hey, I'm using this ability to go do this, like you're playing Magic the Gathering in response to or counter or whatever.
Right. All right. What do we got going on next week? What's our next big one?
Next week, let me actually make sure. It looks like we have a Desmar Sama creation coming up next. Looks like we're doing the Otterkin race.
Okay, nice.
Yes, indeed.
I am liking that. So we should be, now that we got rid of 3 though, how many do we have left total?
That we haven't reviewed yet?
Yeah. We still got a good match? 11? Okay.
11. We got more than 10, but we're getting
down to single digits again? Woo! What?
I know, it's been a while.
Them single digits, y'all. Get to it.
Cosmic, wherever you at, you gotta hook it up.
Getting some Cosmic in a minute. I don't know.
Sling me some more, man.
I think we scared Cosmic away with the bad reviews. I don't think Cosmic wants to come around anymore. They're mad at all of the less than favorable reviews I've been giving.
I know for Hecate, we have coming up his samurai subclasses, which I'm super excited for. And then Desmar, we've got the last race and some backgrounds coming up. And then I think we have Super Foxer's Unbound Speedster that we were going to do last week, but we ended up doing their extra rules.
Interesting. Not bad. Okay.
Indeed.
Let's see what's going on this Friday. I don't think we have anything scheduled for this Friday.
Don't think so. Nothing in particular.
Actually, I wanted to talk to you about this Friday. So, up to you. Totally up to you. But I have been thinking about doing a new video for YouTube. I will need an entire weekend to do it just because of the amount of gameplay hours I will have to do. But I was considering doing a challenge run this weekend because I have a 3-day weekend. And Vixie will be busy with a Rust event, which I'm probably not going to participate in because it's a role play Rust event and it's starting like on Wednesday. going through the whole weekend, and I'm not ready for it. I'm not prepared, and I just
Fair enough.
really don't want to I don't want to rush into that right after work every day and then
Absolutely.
try to do stuff. So I have been thinking about doing this challenge run for an actual video, like an actual honest YouTube video, and trying to do the whole 9 with it. If I do that this weekend, I wanted to start on Thursday because the plan would be to stream it, record it, so at least I'm not just by myself. At least I'll have people to talk to, and make it a little bit more fun. But it would probably be me starting the stream on Thursday, probably playing most of Friday. I might even take Friday off if I can manage it, and then playing Friday, Saturday, and then hopefully if I get the challenge done by Sunday, be able to use part of Sunday and Monday to edit it. So
Okay.
depending on if that works out, I was wondering, depending on if you had anything else going on Friday, do you need a day off from the stream? Because if you do, then I would just focus in on that. But if not, it'll depend on whether or not I lock in for that.
Always got stuff that I could do that actually, you know what, specifically because it's stream time, I've had some MGS background stuff that I've really wanted to make sure I can do. So this will give me actually time to work on, because to be honest, a lot of the times when we're here doing stuff, I could multitask just to scope and get some things done. But having a nice little dedicated spot for that would be a bad idea. So
okay.
Shoot, I'd probably sit down and watch the stream while we do it. So
maybe we'll do that then. Because unfortunately the game I'm gonna do isn't crossplay. It's only on Steam. So otherwise I was gonna see if you can get it and then you can join me for a little bit.
Oh, that'd be cool.
But yeah, so I'm gonna get all that set up. I don't know if I want to announce it publicly just yet until I get all of the details done. But I want to do an official challenge run and make a whole video of it. It's probably gonna take me. I'm assuming it's probably going to take me close to 20 hours in game, actual game time. So that's why I need
those, start to finish games. It's
not going to be a start to finish game, but it's going to be a game where I'm going to play it in a way you're not supposed to, and try to beat it in a way that you're not supposed to. But it's like the normal game, the way you're supposed to play it, it's 15 to 16 hours to beat. So I'm assuming it's going to take 20 to 30 hours. And so I'm going to need to start Thursday to start pumping in hours. I'm going to need hours of footage. And it's probably only going to be a 20, 30-minute YouTube video. You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those ones where I just skip until important parts. But...
Okay, so I will say, when that happens, one of my favorite things is actually getting to see the sped up version of it. So if you speed through all the other stuff, to me, I don't know if a lot of other people, because there will be some people that'll just cut to the action.
Yeah.
People that'll let you watch up to that, how you got it. I appreciate those people that let you watch what it took to get here. You know what I'm saying?
I'll probably do some things when I'm actually doing things. I'll do speed ups, but some things are just going to be all right, well, I'm going to have to do this 100 more times. And it's been 5 days. We're back, 5 days in game. Those cuts I can do where it's okay, you just saw me do it. I'm about to do that for an in-game week. And then you just, okay, now we're in an in-game week. You didn't need to see that, but this is where we're at. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be one of those kind of things. But I do want to, guys, I really have been enjoying working on editing. I know I'm not going to be a professional editor, but it's fun. It's a new challenge. And there is something about putting a video out there and seeing how well it performs. So I want to try my hand at actually a true, honest YouTube video that's not just, this cut down into segments, but actually, thought through, planned, edited, narrated, and things of that sort.
Sure.
Gonna be hard. But we'll see.
I'm here for it. I'm stoked.
All right. Well, I will let you know what's going on Friday, but otherwise, we'll regroup on that. Otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Soul, thank you again for the submissions. I hope you enjoyed 3 reviews today. That's our first, and hopefully not our last, but we don't want to run out too quick, so maybe we'll have to slow down a little bit.
Valid.
But yeah, I hope you guys had a fantastic week, and I hope you guys have a great week ahead of you. We will be back on Friday. At least I will be streaming games. If not, we'll be back together with some more D&D content. But other than that, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. And we'll see you on Friday, guys. Cheers.
Deuces, my friends.